Blynd Submyshynz, where DIY bands submit songs for us to listen and react to blind. Every week, we'll bring a guest from the underground music, arts, or entertainment scene to help you sort through mountains of new music. We go in blind, so you don't have to. Blynd Submyshynz.
Hey, everybody. It's Jeff Wilson here with my partner in crime.
Oh, it's not just Jeff, it's Jeff Wilson.
Yeah.
Ooh, I'm JD.
Norton.
And you know what this is?
This is another episode of Blynd Submyshynz.
We'll spice that up in post.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I'm totally going to do a super take one of these times.
Yeah, who's buying plugins so they can make monster synth and robot noises? This guy.
That guy.
Hey, everybody. So, hey, this is kind of a fun well, not that
They're all fun.
They're all fun. This is a fun kind of podcast inception episode.
Yeah.
Because is this the second time we've done this? Maybe only the first, where we listen to someone.
So it's the first.
Yeah. Moontooth doesn't count.
Yeah, Moontooth doesn't count.
So we listened to someone randomly pulled a song from a band called Cavern Deep just a couple episodes ago when Susie made her 25th episode return, and we were all
her return to the 25th episode.
Yes. We listened to the song and we were kind of blown away and wanted to know more about it.
Yeah.
And in the meantime, the brainchild behind the song reached out to us, Max Malmer from Sweden, and said, "Hey, I'd love to come on and be a guest." You know, Sweden seems to come up a lot in terms of
It's because they produce some of the most amazing heavy music in the world.
Correct. So, and Max has been in a bunch of bands, including some bands, that are on the bigger and more well-known side. And if I was smart enough to pull up my agenda, I didn't. Oh no, I looked it up.
You looked it up.
I fucking looked it up. I wrote it down. He was in a band called Zonaria, which was, from I didn't know about them, but from looking at the details, they're pretty serious band. And then he's had a few other projects, Folkmord, some solo work, now Cavern Deep, and maybe some other things that I'm sure he'll tell us about.
Oh yeah,
when we bring him in. He's also a producer, kind of on the rise, I think, in Sweden, producing some really great records. So we thought it'd be really fun to have Max on, listen to some music, talk about Cavern Deep and what else he's working on, and learn a little bit about the Swedish heavy music scene.
Yeah.
All right.
We should bring him on.
We should bring him on.
That's you.
No, we should not bring me on. I'm here already.
Here.
If anyone has ever used Zoom before trying to admit people on the tiny screen. Oh, and there he is.
Oh, hello.
Hey, Max. How's it going?
Hey. I'm doing well. Had a great day today. Went to the record store. That's always a blast.
Oh.
So yeah.
Oh, well, maybe we'll talk about that a little bit later. Hopefully, you bought some records.
Yeah, I
This is
did.
the merch table.
Of course.
So I was saying this is a unique happening in the 6 month long career of this podcast, in that you are the first blind submission that we listened to turn guest.
Oh yeah.
In the history of the, and I also know you listen, so you're one of our faithful listeners too, which is killer because you'll comment on various like it seems like you really enjoyed that Santos episode from last week.
Oh man, that was. So I went into that episode. I've heard, I have heard his band before, but I didn't know about the Instagram account and all of the stories, and so
yeah.
I went in with no expectations, and then it just it was great. It was a really good episode. And also props to you guys. This is a great podcast. I listen to a lot of podcasts, and I listen to a lot of the big American comedians and whatnot, and it's so nice to not have you can have some good episodes with them, but all of a sudden some right-wing dude comes on and just you just feel like, oh, man, should I really be listening to this?
Yeah.
So,
I've unsubscribed to a pretty decent number of podcasts, and in short up, I have the networks that I know I'm gonna sort of, if it's on Earwolf or Headgum or from the comedy scene, there's a few places where you're probably safe.
Yeah.
Probably.
Yeah.
But it's good. It's an interesting format. It's like I was listening to a podcast yesterday. This is sort of like long form talk radio sort of disappeared. You know, it was like I think it peaked at the beginning of Stern on Sirius, and then we just all started streaming music and listening to other stuff. And I know podcasts have been simmering for a long time, but really the last 5 years they've exploded in terms of number of available shows, number of people have them, and then obviously in the last year, everyone who didn't in entertainment who didn't already have one started one.
And not touring, start a podcast.
Yeah. But no, I it's so refreshing because we just live in a culture of 30-second to 2-minute conversations. Of tweets and Instagram stories and stuff. So it's nice to like dig deep with somebody and really like go where the conversation takes you.
So let's dig deep.
Let's dig deep.
Let's dig Cavern Deep.
Yeah,
sure.
So I have. That was horrible.
No, I love that jokes.
I have so many questions. I have questions. I mean, I'm curious about your background, some of the bands that you've been in the past. I'm broadly curious about the scene in Sweden in general, and I know there's probably not a scene. There's probably lots of scenes like everywhere.
Yeah,
sure.
And then the album. I mean, you sent it over yesterday, and Jay didn't get a chance to listen to it because I couldn't do the download on my phone and play it downstairs. But I sat this morning with my computer through the interface, so listening through a good interface, and man, it sounds so good. But the art. So I want to make sure to talk about the art a little bit, where that came from, who did it, how is it done, because it's interesting. It's different than a lot of the art. So maybe start with your background.
Yeah. Okay.
How did you get into making music?
So I started playing music when I was 14 as a bass player, and I guess at 14 years old I was only playing World of Warcraft. That was like the one thing I was doing, because if you didn't know, I'm quite a young guy. I'm 28, so I have 2 years until I'm a reasonable person.
No, you seem pretty reasonable already to me.
I try, but sometimes my conscience failed me. But so I was playing a lot of World of Warcraft, and I one day I just figured out that, man, this is like really unhealthy. I was not doing well with it at all. So I just quit, and then I quickly figured out that if I quit playing World of Warcraft, I had nothing to do anymore. So I went to the guitar shop and got some new strings for my mother's old acoustic guitar, and set it up and started to, try and play. At that time I was really into like the Swedish melodic death metal scene, and so that's like my starting grounds, I guess. So I tried to like play some of that stuff, some In Flames songs and Children of Bottom songs, and then after doing that by myself for a while, my friend Michael just told me one day that like, oh, you're in my band now. I was like, okay. And so I got a bass, one of those beginner bass, and started playing. And
what was it? What was your first bass? Can you even remember the brand?
Yeah, it was one of those cheap, like I think the brand is called Tenson. It's it's some knockoff brand, and like
made overseas, made in South Korea or China or something, probably.
The string action was like this or something.
Oh, man,
it was not it was not a good bass. But anyway, we got to playing some In Flames covers, and after a couple of years, that band turned into a band called Apocalypse, which was like my first band. This was when I was maybe 16 or something, and we got to play the local metal festival, which has a lot of good bands. Like that year, I think like we had like Lamb of God and Hypocrisy and Behemoth, and a lot of that classic metal stuff.
Yeah.
So that really motivated me start playing and taking music more seriously. So I kept playing, and after a while I joined a band called Death Maze, which is like, or was, I guess, a female fronted death metal band. So it was like classic death metal, but yeah, it was 3 girls and 2 guys, so that was pretty unique.
Yeah, that's definitely something you don't see, especially in death metal. Although in the Bay Area, there's a bit of it.
Really?
Oakland has a strong kind of gender positive, like supportive scene. When you go to a metal show in Oakland, it's likely to be 50-50 men and women, which, as you know, as a person who goes and plays metal shows, is probably not that common.
Not that common.
Wow. Yeah, that's great. I love to hear.
Yeah, and so there are a few bands. There's a couple on Tank Crimes. Sonny from Necrot, his girlfriend is in about 3 different various death and death metal bands. Cool. There's a bunch of them, which is cool. It was really good to see.
Yeah.
So you were progressive in Sweden.
Yeah, we
they always are.
Yeah, we're a little bit more left than the rest of everyone.
Yeah,
like
you think?
A little bit.
Our right wing parties is like way left of the Democrats. So
yeah, we talk about that a lot.
Yeah. Yeah, we've heard. But
if the people in America who are in the MAGA crowd really understood what
left means,
what left really was, they'd actually be terrified. Well, I don't know if they'd actually be terrified, because most of them would probably get support.
Yeah,
but they would be scared at the concept of it.
Well, I think it would be a good thing for a lot of those people. Actually, like a lot of those people are where they are, I guess, because they're like disenfranchised and don't have a job, and so but the angry big Oompa Loompa mesmerized them into, I don't know, but
you just need to know like the 5 MAGA words. It's China,
socialism,
China. The radical left.
Yeah,
it's like
Patriot.
Their book of talking points, I think, is like just 1 page. It's only got about 6 lines on it. It's not very sophisticated.
No. But it's.
So sorry. Back to your story. You were in a band with had 3 women.
One more interruption. So that's funny.
Love interruptions.
That your start, like Santos, was, oh shit, I'm like hopelessly addicted to video games. maybe if you showered with the computer you used to play World of Warcraft on,
that would be
that up on your Instagram.
In the bathtub.
I will tell you, I was also playing World of Warcraft 14 years ago a lot, and I could see. That game didn't do it for me, but so many people went down a really dark rabbit hole.
Yeah.
And then if you have that moment where you can step back and go, wow, if I put the time that I'm putting into this into anything else productive, even video games that are played as sport, just pick a different kind of video game where there's a future.
Yeah.
because there was no streaming yet. Now the top streamers in the world, I think, play WoW.
That's so crazy.
I think it's like the number 1 on Twitch is people watching people
get paid they paid to watch them.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. It's a big thing now, so you can. That was never a thing back then. I guess there was like professional Counter-Strike players, but
yeah,
not,
there was a little bit of esport. There was a little bit of esport, but not like it is now.
Yeah, no, for sure not like it is now. But yeah, so that's exactly what I did. I took all of that time. I invested into World of Warcraft and invested into music instead. So that paid off, and we actually played like Sweden Rock Festival, which is with Death Maze, which is I guess one of the bigger, or I think the biggest, like rock festival in Sweden. So that went pretty well for a while, but then.
So how big of a crowd? How big of a crowd would that be? A big rock festival in Sweden, like 20,000.
Yeah, so maybe 20 to 50,000.
Okay, so
it's a
real deal.
Yeah,
it's a real deal.
Yeah.
And for reference, how many people live in Sweden?
Oh. 10 million. So it's
10
about
million.
the size of, I don't know, Los Angeles maybe.
Yeah, although I suspect people come from outside of Sweden for a festival like that.
Oh,
since
yeah,
we have
yeah.
a lot of close neighbors, but
It's actually just in the south of Sweden, so it's a lot of like Danish people and German people, and going there. So
gotcha.
yeah.
And you're way far north, right?
Oh, way far north. I'm about 30 kilometers from the polar circle. So
Oh my God.
Wow.
so it's really far north here. We have
Does it ever get warm where you are then?
yeah, sure. Oh,
Yeah?
it's not California warm, but it's it gets like maybe 80 to 100 Fahrenheit for a month or two.
Wow.
So it's fine. Actually, it's like pretty okay. And today it was really warm. It was like 36 Fahrenheit. So, and the sun was out for a bit, and so it was okay. But we have had a lot of cold days, like the last couple of months, and it's been like maybe minus 30 Fahrenheit at worst, and we have like 4 feet of snow now.
Oh my God.
And it's been melting a bit, so it was worse before.
Yeah, it's so weird. I've never lived in a place. What's the light situation? How many hours of light are you getting on March 20th or whatever today is?
Oh, this right now it's fine, because now it's like the sun is up at 6 and down at 6. So, but in December we have maybe 1 or 2 hours of light, and if you go past the polar circle, it doesn't become day.
Oh wow,
That's crazy.
For a month or so.
that's crazy.
Yeah. But in the summer, it never becomes night. So that's insane. So yeah,
The festivals just never have to stop.
What was that crazy horror movie? From the last couple of years, where it's in the light, and then the festival. They go to some festival in Sweden. It's the
it was
Midsommar. Is it that one?
Midsommar.
Yes.
Yeah,
That's the
Midsommar.
one.
Yeah. So
Midsommar.
so dancing around that phallus symbol and all of that pagan thing in the midst of the summer solstice, that we still do that in Sweden, but minus all the killings and the
No murder.
and the murders and all that.
No murder rituals and
Yeah. But it is a really cool movie. It derives from some of things that was real. When the elderly heroically falls off the cliff for the betterment of the rest of the society, the Attestupa. They used to do that, the Vikings.
Really?
Actually, yeah. So that's a real
wow.
thing. We don't do that anymore, of course, but
yeah.
yeah. But I tell you,
Except-
like actually having festivals in the midsummer solstice is a really bad idea, especially metal festivals. Like the lighting never becomes cool. It's like
It's always daytime.
It's always daytime. So try playing like black metal, and you're on at like midnight, and you're like, yes, finally a good slot, and it's like sunset. It's just not optimal.
That
It's
would
just
be
bright.
yeah. Like the facade falls away a little bit when you don't have the dark. Like imagine a band that's in full costume, like even a simple one like a Uada. Going up in like the full light of day. We get a little bit of it, honestly, at Psycho Las Vegas.
Oh yeah,
because the pool stage, especially the first day when they do the pool party, it starts at noon or first band's at like 1 o'clock. So watching Elder at 3 o'clock in the afternoon is is a little bit weird.
Yeah,
but then at night it's amazing.
Yeah. Dude, I want to go to that festival so badly. Seems like such a nice time.
It is. Yeah. Try and make a plan to come. Maybe not this year, but next year, 2022.
Yeah. So
it's a blast.
Yeah. So my mother is actually moving to what is called San Fernando Valley. It's called that.
Okay.
Yeah. So it's, So she's moving out at least for a year, I think. And I think that's gonna happen this autumn. So I'm going to San Francisco maybe for Christmas or something, just to, I've been to San Francisco like once before for a day, so I'm gonna explore the city. Spend some time.
Well, definitely let us know when it comes up, and we'll point you to like where the good shows are. Hopefully there will be shows by then. Yeah,
by fall.
Cross your fingers.
That would be nice.
Yeah. You'll probably end up in Oakland, but
even if they're just local.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. So yeah, but yeah, man, I miss shows so much.
I know. I try not to think about it.
Yeah. Did you guys watch the King Gizzard and the Lizard Wizard?
I did.
Stream
I watched
yesterday?
almost the entire thing yesterday.
I have not watched it yet.
While it was live, and it was incredible.
And there was a crowd.
I know.
Actual crowd, and I was man, I've almost forgotten how it was to go to a festival and go to a show, but just watching that yesterday, it just sparked something in me,
Yeah. There was one part I actually had to play for him last night. There's a part, I think the song starts like 50 minutes in, where they're playing, and this whole set was all microtonal stuff. So all three guitars and the bass player were playing the microtonal instruments, and the two guitars were playing together, whatever the riff was, and then the two guitar players were singing over the riff in a different time. So they were singing in harmony with each other. So singing harmonic polyrhythm while playing a completely different time signature. Yeah, I don't know how they do it.
Yeah, that song
blows my mind.
That last album, LV, and also the prequel, the KG album, I think is just epic. I love that. It's almost like a doom metal track. The last one that one is really cool.
They go wherever. That's what I love about it. It's just like, fuck it, we'll just play. We need 4 more musicians for this song. Hey, like, call your buddies over. It's like, I just imagine them living in some sort of a camp with like multiple rehearsal spaces and like 30 musicians to pick from at any point in time. Which sounds like heaven.
I have some insight to that. They actually live on the same block. And rehearse on the same block, and they record and mix everything themselves.
Does Stu have a studio like in his house? I saw some video of him kind of showing off his little studio.
Yeah. So that's how they are able to produce so many albums.
Yeah. Well, to me, they kind of appeared out of nowhere. I know they had a following already. And, I'd listen to this kind of music, tons of it, and I had never heard of them. And then everyone's like, oh, are you going to go see King Gizzard at the Warfield or whatever, a 2,000-seat theater? And I was like, who? And they're like, oh, no, sorry, it's already sold out. And I'm like, what? Who is this band? I don't know who they are. And
5 or 6 years ago, right?
6 years ago.
Yeah.
And they just, the relentless touring and the relentless production of music just built an undeniable fan base that just follows them wherever.
And it's so broad, too. Yeah. Like, I don't know anybody that doesn't love them across all, like, genres of fans,
Yeah, they've done, like, excellent thrash metal albums and microtonal albums and, like, that weird jazz album they did. Love that stuff, man.
Yeah. They're I mean, it's such an interesting case. And so Glory or Death is putting out. So do you know what they did with this open source album thing?
Yeah. Really cool.
Yeah, like, can you imagine having so much recorded music that you're like, here's 8 records we never put out. We're going to throw them up open source and let anyone who wants to release them, release them. Just give us a little bit of whatever you make.
It's insane. And, it's so smart.
Yeah,
it's so
residual
cool.
income.
It's like they figured out how to break the system that exists right now. They just broke it in half, and so they created a path for other people to kind of follow along. And also break the system. Hopefully it works.
Yeah, their record. They have their own record label, right? As well.
Yeah, why not?
Yeah, it's awesome.
Seriously.
Yeah. It's too bad one of the drummers left to just handle the record company, though. I liked the time when back in the day.
Two
when they
drummers.
had two drummers, really cool.
Yeah. I keep watching that KEXP live set with the two drummers.
Oh,
that's up on
when
YouTube.
they lock eyes.
Yeah, when
Yeah.
they. It's like we
Yeah.
used to see a band called Slow Season a lot. Are you familiar with them?
No.
They're a California band. They were, they sound a lot like the first 4 Led Zeppelin albums.
Oh, okay.
In a good way.
Yeah.
And Cody, who's the drummer and also the engineer who records all their stuff, sort of mastered drums that sound exactly like Bonham's recorded drums. Like, just listen to them for that, so that you can see how someone completely figured out how to do it.
Cool.
What was I gonna say?
The eyes locking drummers.
So they're a poor bass player, because Cody is a fucking aggressive drummer. He's really good.
Yeah.
He spends the entire set with his head turned to the side, staring right into the bass player's eyes, like, you fucking keep up with me. Don't you fucking miss a beat. And it looks like he will jump out of the chair and rip his head off if something goes wrong. It's so intense.
Yeah,
it's really fun.
Yeah, that's great. Just overall, like, King Gizzard is like my house gods nowadays. Them and Elder is just like, yeah. So
yeah, have you gotten to see Elder since they added the permanent new members?
No, I've never seen Elder. Unfortunately, I really want to.
Oh, you've never seen them?
Yeah.
Oh, you got to fix that when you can.
I have to
now.
I have to drive for 8 hours to go to the closest, like, really big city. That's Stockholm, where
Oh my gosh.
bands like play usually. So
Wow,
yeah.
I can't even imagine that.
that's a long trip. Well, you got to be like Santos and hop in the car and drive 20 hours,
20 hours.
from New Mexico to Berkeley to see punk shows.
Yeah,
That's
man.
insane.
Yeah, man.
No, I've seen them twice since they added the guy who plays guitar and keyboards, and he sings backups and harmonies, and to me it was a really important addition to sort of get the live experience to be closer to the album experience. They don't have to match, but they do some pretty aggressive stuff on the records in terms of multi-tracking.
Was he in the band last time we saw them at
Yeah.
Psycho?
Yeah,
Oh, okay.
he was in the band the last time I've seen him twice.
Yeah.
Wait, where is Elder from?
Well, they're from Boston, but Nick moved to Germany
Oh, okay.
years ago. Basically, he said living in Europe with a touring band like this is much better than living in America.
Oh, I
so,
can imagine.
Yeah.
so he just relocated to Germany.
Yeah.
Germany is a really nice place. I love it there. And you can tell by their music. They made that Krautrock album. The what is it called? Illusionary Motions?
Yep.
It's actually there behind the bass.
Been listening to it?
Yeah, I always sleep besides my bass. I haven't set this up at all. What are you talking about? Yeah.
Just in case, you're dreaming and something comes to you.
Yeah.
You're like, oh, God.
I've done that. I have literally woken up
Really?
and gone and recorded something real quick.
Really?
Yeah. It was a long time ago. It hasn't happened in a long time. It was before I had kids. When I had space in my brain to dream
Back
about
when you had dreams?
dream about riffs.
Yeah.
Now I just have dreams about this podcast.
Yeah.
Now I know I'm screwed.
But guys, this podcast is really good. I just have to say that. I haven't had the time to listen to too many episodes yet. I maybe have gone to 4 or 5, but it is basically become my favorite podcast. Like over just a couple of
Thank you.
couple of weeks.
Can you
and
Keep it coming.
put that in writing, so then we'll put it on the website. And
Yeah.
What website? There's no website.
But yeah, you just keep doing what you're doing, and I think this podcast is gonna do great. The concept is great, listening to random music that's submitted to you, and the guests are like you dig up like the people that I really want to have as guests, the ones that, there's a lot of interview formats and interview podcasts which just have this, so which is your 10 most influential albums, and which is your and that's all fine. Like, I can listen to one of those with one member of a band once, and you get it. But this is more like an actual conversation, like a long format conversation. And
we just like to talk.
Yeah. Well, so so throw out a couple of names. Dream guess, if we could.
What are some dream
because
guesses?
This is it started with me doing the tribute records, figuring out that if you want to ask someone, just ask them, and the worst thing they can do is say no.
Yeah.
And that's been the philosophy for booking guests too. And we've thrown out to people that we had no contact with and who would have no reason to spend 2 hours of their life talking to us.
And sometimes they never reply back.
Yeah.
And sometimes they do. And
sometimes
really?
they go, sure. All right.
Okay.
Yeah. So you should definitely get Matt Pike on. That would be very cool, I think.
Yeah.
Matt's fun in interviews too.
He is.
I may know a guy who knows a guy.
Yeah, you think?
Yeah, I listened to that episode, I think. But like that would be really cool. And I guess like someone from Elder would also be really nice. I've also really appreciated as I am a music producer myself, and I've actually worked several years as a music producer, only doing that. So I really appreciated the episodes with the different producers. Has been
Billy and Andy and Chris and Francis.
Yeah. Those were the first. When I saw you had Billy on, I was like, oh, right on that stuff. I think that's how I found the podcast. Actually, I think like maybe Billy was tagged in it or something, and then I saw the name and I was like, Blynd Submyshynz. Oh, it must be a Polish podcast. I have to check this out. I just listened for a while.
That's great.
These guys aren't Polish at all.
No, maybe that. I don't know. Maybe the reference didn't make its way to Sweden, but it's just stolen from Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure.
Oh,
they had a band called Wild Stallions. And
we're all with the Y's and the Z's.
And the logo kind of looks like that. So we just had Nick rip it off.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Yeah, well, I didn't get it, but it was it was a nice
totally
surprise.
Fair.
Yeah. So how is as a Swedish person, how is things in California now? Like, are you thinking of opening up for shows soon? Or?
Yes. So I'll tell you. So none of the venues have really gotten the go ahead to run shows yet. The restrictions go county by county.
Oh, right.
And so that sounds like a small area, but our county is over 1 million people. Santa Clara County.
Oh wow.
Los Angeles County is 10 million people. So, so it depends on kind of what tier you're in based on in cases and hospitalization rates. Right now we're very low. And so they've allowed restaurants to open up to limited indoor dining. They've allowed some, entertainment places, billiards and bowling alleys, I think, and movie theaters at very limited capacity, like 20% or something. 10%. It's really low. I personally am not doing any of that. We're so close to getting vaccines that I can just wait another month or two.
Sure, why not?
It would be terrible to go this far. And I don't know, people I think get the wrong impression because the response is often, why are you scared? I don't think I've been scared except for maybe in the first week when nobody knew what the hell was going on.
Yeah. That was scary.
Scared at all. It's just very clear that simple measures, considerate measures, will just help out the whole thing. Yeah. And I also do a lot of work kind of on systems level problems. Yeah. And so, sure, I'm annoyed at the interruption to my individual life, but I understand my role as one person in a large mass of people that have to be convinced to do something to actually move things. And so I can just go, okay, well, that's my job, so I have to do it.
Yeah.
But it's,
it can be inconvenience for the greater good.
Yeah, it's fine.
Sure.
It's fine. People in generations before us and in other parts of the country of the world right now are having to deal with much, much worse. So
yeah, for sure.
It's not. But if you drove around here right now, you probably wouldn't notice much of a difference pre and post pandemic. It's that, if you tried to go inside of a restaurant, but I go to the store all the time. I just limit my interactions to short duration with anyone but these guys.
Yeah.
I mean, if I'm going to see my mom, she's fully vaccinated now. So that was exciting.
Nice.
So I could actually like see her and hang out for a little bit, but, trying to keep interactions below 5 minutes
Yeah.
almost all the time, and then make exceptions, but, be outside or wear a mask or whatever. Not because I'm scared, but just because I don't want to make the numbers go up.
Yeah.
I mean, and mostly because of the part that I don't get is I can imagine the unpacking of trauma that all of the medical workers are going to have to do. And I know a few, and like, it's horrific. What they've had to go through is terrible.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And me saying, I'm not scared, I'll risk it, is just I think totally rude to the people who have to deal with me if my risk turns into their problem.
Yeah.
So
I actually had it in the beginning of the pandemic.
oh, you did?
Yeah, and I can attest to it not being fun.
No.
Yeah.
What kind of a case did you have, out of curiosity?
So I had a hard time breathing. So that sucked. I didn't get hospitalized, but almost. So
Oh wow.
yeah, that wasn't fun. So yeah, it's Sweden has been very different, of course, to the rest of the world. But
yeah, there was a period of time where if you were a libertarian or of that mindset in this country, you're like, look, we should just do what Sweden did.
You pointed to the Swedish
Yeah,
method.
they got it right, and then it was like, maybe not. They got it right until they didn't.
Yeah,
But-
yeah.
Until it went
But
downhill.
tell us. I mean, having been being there,
So
did Sweden get it right?
so
Or should they have done things differently?
I guess Sweden has done it right for Sweden, So first of all, we have not had no restrictions like some of you might have heard. We do have restrictions. They're just not as harsh as everywhere else. And the Swedish strategy is to, we still have the recommendation to just like hang out with a couple of friends, don't have like big parties, and we actually restricted by law that gatherings beyond 8 people is illegal.
Oh wow. See, we have no laws.
Yeah.
Everything that we have are like guidelines and recommendations, but I'm not aware of a single law that's been passed.
Nope.
Yeah.
So that's interesting.
So we do have some restrictions, and also like we have a lot of recommendations. And Swedes are like just like Germans and Danes and Norwegians. Like if the light is red in the middle of the night at a traffic light, we stop until it's green. so people are,
Compliant.
yeah, compliant.
Yeah,
But so Sweden has been doing okay. Like we have like the 4th or 5th lowest amount of deaths in Europe. So we have been doing okay, and like our city centers and all the mom and pop stores and everything, they're all still open because they didn't get shut down. So that can have good impacts, especially for young people and their future and such. So I think like the Swedish, we have something called the People's Health Institute, which is like they govern like all of like the general health of the public. So they make assumptions and decisions based on not only like what is most prudent to do right now, but also like what effects will this have in the future. So we have some restrictions. We are just trying to balance them so it doesn't, destroy too much, I guess.
It's when you were talking about Midsommar, the old Viking tradition of letting the elderly fall off the cliff. I mean, that was the conversation we were having around the country. That the lieutenant governor of Texas said essentially, "Hey, we're old. Well, let's take it for the kids.
They're gonna die eventually."
Jesus.
Yeah.
It was like, holy crap.
So like for everyone out there to know, that is not at all what Sweden did. That's just basically propaganda. We did a little bit less than some other places, but not too. Yeah, it's not too harsh, but it's not too, it's not nothing. We don't have any shows. We don't have, restaurants are only open till 8, and they have limited seating, and mostly outdoor dining when it's possible, and not 6 feet of snow.
So it probably looks a lot like California.
Yeah,
exactly.
Yeah, it's
Hear
not
that, everybody?
too different.
Don't trust the news.
Yeah, exactly.
All right, so we got up to a couple of your bands. I want to hear. I want to hear about more.
Oh wait, is this a music podcast?
There's a music podcast.
That was a weird
I love tangents.
But I think we should listen to some music, and then we can come back to you and talk a little bit more about what you got going on.
Oh, sure.
Yes.
Yeah.
All right,
Let's
all right,
do it.
You ready?
Yeah.
All right.
for sure.
Let's do it.
Oh man. Okay.
I am
Segment
excited.
1. Okay, so the first band that we are going to listen to is called Old Time Moonshine.
Old Time Moonshine.
Cool. So that's either country, blues, or like Pantera worship.
Old Time. I'm thinking it's gonna be some type rock. Like it's gonna be heavy guitars with that kind of
The Jarl.
The Jarl.
The Jarl.
Yeah.
No, see, now I'm seeing like some classic stoner,
yeah,
David
yeah.
Paul Seymour style
I like
artwork.
that. I like that. That's really
It's
cool.
cool artwork.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like some couple of faces, an old man with a pipe, some sort of dog creature with a helmet.
So it's
I don't
like
know
a
what's
teen
going on.
wolf or something in space.
All right. And the song is called Lycanthroprophahir or something.
Oh yeah,
I
that's
can't see very well.
I'm not
That's
gonna
not
try
a word.
I'm not gonna try to pronounce that.
Lycanthrosphere.
Lycanthroposphere. Lycanthroposphere.
Lycanthroposphere.
That is
There
probably
we
it
go.
actually.
Yeah.
And lycanthropes are isn't that? Oh no, never mind. That's not werewolves.
I have no idea.
Stick us both up here.
Put us up there.
Oh. Well,
It'll still record.
all right. There we are.
There we go.
Hello.
I'll make it big again.
Huh? If I make it big, it can
Oh.
only be him.
But don't
This-
we only need to see him?
No.
Oh, but you want to record both of us. Okay.
We had this is pre-show conversation right here. And then I don't know where this is going to sit on the screen in the recording. You know what I mean? Because this little
It's almost
mobile thing.
always in the top corner.
Okay, good. Well, we'll just pretend like that's going to work and not going to screw up our video at all. Lycanthroposphere by Old Time Moonshine. The album is called The Apocalypse Trilogies, and it's old time,
stoner.
no D, oldtimemoonshine.bandcamp.com.
Okay. Let's do it.
All right.
Let's do it.
Whoa.
There we go.
All right. I'm going to put this in the genre of clutch worship.
Yeah.
I like the music, but it's just that it seems like there's just so many bands that just do that Jarl over the top of the growly singing, and what do you think, Max?
Well, yeah. So you were right about the Jarl, for sure.
Did I nail it?
Yeah, it was like the Jarliest Jarl thing, and look, they are even.
That was like, that was really Jarly.
Yeah, they look like really nice guys. I like they're smiling though. I like this band picture. Like they're not standing like this with sunglasses. Like
We got to look at this guy. We got one sunglass.
He's angry.
Cranky
he's a
guy,
bit
but
cranky, but
everybody
Yeah,
else
yeah.
looks happy.
yeah. So
They're Canadian too, so of course they're happy.
Ah,
oh yeah,
there we go.
That's the key. So I thought that was okay. I'm also a bit, we've heard this before, of
Yeah,
course,
yeah.
and But there was some cool aspect to it. I kind of liked the guitar sound in the beginning.
Yeah.
That was pretty cool.
Oh, super cool.
Yeah, the guitar sounded good. It's like, I can picture the dilemma. This is another one of those like, all right, that's a cool song. Who's gonna sing? And it's like,
Yeah.
I don't know.
Somebody has
All right,
to sing.
I'll try it.
It's gonna be me. Okay.
And it's it's somewhere between a Neil Fallon and then like a full Jarl. Like there's a little melody going on, but not very much.
I mean, it's
So anytime you're doing that, song structure is pretty straightforward. The riffs were not anything that I haven't heard before. The singing wasn't different.
Yeah.
So you got to execute on like a crazy high level in some way in order for that to jump out to me compared to everything else that sounds like that.
I feel like in that sort of like that stoner rock genre, these guys are they're probably great. They probably have a great following. I bet they have a lot of people that really like them.
Yeah, for sure.
And honestly, if the singing was different, I probably would still be listening.
Yeah.
Here, let's scoot forward a little bit.
Sure.
Listen to a little bit more.
Sorry, were you gonna say, Max?
Yeah, go for it.
So I think like this would probably be a great live band, right?
Yeah, it would be fun.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, it would probably be really cool when you're a bit drunk, at like midnight in a bar. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I'm gonna maybe get myself in trouble, but it's the truth. This is a type of band that I would call, a Ripple band. This is like a lot of what Ripple music puts out.
Oh, completely.
Oh, yeah.
Like that post heavy groove rock with the variety of different kinds of
Heavy groove rock.
Yeah.
I like that.
singing over it.
Yeah, with fuzz and that whole thing. Yeah, for sure. That's a good category.
All right, let's hear. We're right in the center. Yeah, it sounds. See, like if I'm not going to listen to Clutch, I'll listen to Sasquatch. Sure. And executing the same thing, at a higher level, but it's good. There's nothing wrong with it.
Yeah,
it's good. It's
sure.
It's not for me, but I can appreciate it, and I'm sure that in this genre, they probably have a lot of fans.
Yeah, they can hold their own.
Yeah,
for sure.
All
right.
For sure.
Next.
More?
Okay.
There's more?
There's more. This is a band called Tarhag.
Tarhag.
Mm-hmm.
Interesting.
Interestingly, Tarhag has two band camps, Tarhag and Tarhag Official.
Oh.
And
I wonder why.
tell me if you do not recognize the style of this art.
It looks like sleep.
No?
No?
It's so remember he came up, Pat Thorfinn. He's an artist and he's in a band from the Carolinas. He did his own cover art. We listened to his band.
Oh, we did?
Yeah.
What was the other band?
I'll think of it at some point here. He must be somehow related because he doesn't do much album art for other people, but this is clearly his work. Like I don't even have to look at it twice. I think I actually watched a slow motion video of him coloring this with a Sharpie.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, it is
And then
really cool. I really like it.
Really, really. Coffin Torture. That's his. That's his.
Oh, really?
That's his band.
Okay.
Yeah.
That was just a few episodes ago.
He's a gear lunatic too.
Gotcha.
He's the guy who he'll post a picture and he's got like a Sun, like a vintage Sun, a green, a Mad Amp, like a handmade, 2 or 3 other handmade amps, and then like 3 Emperor cabs with 6 12s in them. So he just has this like insane wall of noise, and then he's got a couple of JML guitars too.
Oh yeah,
Talking
man.
Okay,
So
it does look sleepish.
yeah,
Hey, it does.
But yeah, so they're from South Carolina?
yeah, they're
This
from
is
Greenville.
This is going to be some heavy sludge then, right?
I would hope so.
I
Looking
think
forward to it.
so. Looks like it.
So we're gonna listen to Frozen Prayer, and then we'll look at the cover while we're listening.
Ooh, yeah. Yeah! It's a cool cover.
Yeah. Some tentacles, some wolf.
pause it there for a second.
Yeah.
Thoughts?
So
I mean, yeah. Go ahead, Max.
no, you first.
Oh no, really, I insist.
No, he's glad you have something to say because he's trying to figure out what he's going to say.
So I think this is kind of the same thing as the other band, not in the genre, but that this is kind of done a lot already. So the execution has to be like really, really excellent for it to be. And I mean it's okay. It has some really cool places, I think, like that intro I liked, but yeah, I don't know.
I'm curious for the vocals to come in.
Yeah,
and then I'm curious to see if this is the song or if it like goes off in another direction.
That's what I was just thinking. I'm like, okay, we're like a minute and a half in. Is this the song, or are we still in the intro?
Yeah,
because I'm waiting for it to do something now.
yeah. And it might be here. Let's just listen a little bit more.
Let's just keep listening.
Yeah.
I liked where it was going.
We got clutch worship in the first song. We got sleep worship sort of in the second song, especially that rolling snare and the sounds a lot like sleep drummer number one.
Sleep drummer number one.
yeah.
I mean, in style at least.
Yeah. No, I mean, I like this. I think this is a good example of just like that sleep style of doom.
Yeah. It's almost a bit death doomish, but slower, somehow. Mm-hmm. Yeah. I think this is fine. I'd listen to this, I think.
Yeah, I might go back and check out some of the other songs.
Yeah.
Oh, completely. Yeah, I'd like to hear the rest of the songs. I mean, we're only halfway through the first song.
Yeah.
And it's funny too, because if you scroll down to the bottom, recommended. If you like this, then you may also like, and sleep is down there.
Of course.
Oh yeah, well, of course. I mean, that goes for almost anything.
Yeah.
Sure.
That we're gonna play at some
Dope
point
Throne.
here.
Sure.
Green Lung. Yeah, this is that all makes sense.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. So, but for like such a band, I think that it's good. It's been done before, but they're executing it pretty well. Yeah.
Yeah, and I want to hear it because we, in order to route it through Zoom, we have to listen to it kind of routed through the normal interface in my computer, and it doesn't sound as good if I listen to it. Like it changes a lot when we play back in the recording. It'll be it'll sound better than we're currently hearing it.
Yeah,
so.
exactly. Exactly. Let's look at that cover.
Yeah, the cover's pretty cool. It's like a pagan sacrifice situation.
Yeah, it's so crazy. It's like you got monsters on the left,
tentacles,
and then you've got
a wolf.
Very like Native American.
Yeah,
there's a lot of like it's
yeah.
I thought almost.
I can't see the art right now, but I thought it was like a Sasquatch up in the left corner.
Oh
yeah, that's probably
or like
what
a bog monster or something.
Oh yeah. Bog monster.
Maybe that's the tar hag.
Oh,
yeah, could be.
I'm hoping it's like some South Carolina folklore.
This bone is throwing me off though. It's like
which one? Oh,
there's
here,
like this random bone sticking up out of the fire.
I'll share it again so you can see.
Yeah, I thought about that as well. It
keeps throwing me off because it's almost it almost looks like they had all of the artwork done.
Yeah.
The artist sent it in, and then they're like, dude, we need a bone. And then the artist was like, God, fuck. So he just grabbed a Sharpie and drew in a bone.
Well,
Like,
this
quick
is
as
an
it could.
interesting style that's not usually my favorite because you have clearly, I think, some digital art,
Yeah.
and then you have overlaid actual photographs, like of the wolf,
Yeah.
and then some other drawings, like the textures and are all kind of different. The fire doesn't all look like it's part of the same thing exactly.
Yeah.
It's really cool.
It's really cool though.
It's different,
Sounds
which
like
which I like.
yeah, exactly. It's different.
Yeah.
Think about that. Well, so let's go back then and talk more about where you went, how we got to Caverns Deep.
Okay, so
in your history, so we left off at Swedish rock festivals.
yeah,
And
yeah.
You're what, 18?
Yeah, something like that. I think I might have been 17 because I remember that they kind of didn't let us into some areas because we were kids.
Not old enough.
Yeah. But I think, I shouldn't out someone, but there were people who snuck us a couple of beers maybe, and we had a good time. Anyway, so I played in Death Maze for a while, but then I got recruited for a band called Sonaria, which I still actually play in, and we, so I on my last year of high school, I started in Sonaria, and I spent my last semester of high school on tour with Nile.
Oh wow.
So that escalated pretty quickly.
Yeah.
So
You had to probably learn real quick how to be like in a serious touring band. I mean, that
Yeah.
I don't know much about Zonaria, but I've heard the name before, and I know that it's, you know, a level above any band I've ever been in terms of exposure and touring and all of that stuff. How much did you tour?
So I have done maybe 6 European tours or something with Sonaria. The band before I joined had done many tours. So Sonaria has toured with like Satyricon and Marduk and Dark Funeral, Nile, lots of bands, Vader,
Oh, wow.
lots of those death metal bands. So, but they were already a big band, like signed on Century Media when I joined them.
Yeah, that's right. They're a Central Media band.
Oh, wow.
Exactly. And Sonaria still exists. We still play some, but you know, life got in the way, and people, not me, but people other, like the drummer Rickard got kids, and you know.
Yeah, like
Got kids.
it happens to
I like
some
that.
of us. To some of us.
He was stricken with children.
Yeah.
Where did these come from?
Exactly. Oh, I kid the kids. I love kids. It's fun. But yeah. So, but we are and I, me and Simon started studying. So yeah. So we're quite kind of inactive now, and so that we toured a lot, and then I started my studio. So I worked for as a music producer for maybe full time for like 2 years, and then I still do that as well. But then I thought that I'd perhaps learn some useful skills in life too. So I'm currently studying to Masters of Engineering in computer science. So
No big deal.
So I'm doing that, and you know, Sonaria was kind of inactive, and so that led me to, you know, I there's this Swedish band called Gudaskymning, which I produced a couple of records of, and both Kenny and Dennis from Cavern Deep is also in that band.
Oh, okay.
So I kind of got to know them, and at that time I was, you know, really honestly sick of like the modern metal scene and what it had become, and I still am kind of jaded about that.
Yeah, I can imagine.
Yeah. So, but so I really got into like a lot of psychedelic rock, like neo-psychedelic rock and stoner metal, and all of that stuff was new to me because I didn't grow up in the 90s. So I got into like Melvins and that whole, and then just spiraled from there. And then one day Kenny hit me up and was like, "Hey, we should have a doom metal band." So that's how Cavern Deep got started, and that's where we are today, I guess.
Yeah, so if you listen to the Susie episode where we listened to it, we were all kind of struck, and especially once you started singing, because I'm all for different styles of singing in all kinds of music, but it was just such a cool. What did I say? Is like Nick Cave tripped down a stair, like he's walking down the sidewalk, and there's like a basement stairwell in New York. He tripped and fell down, and there was a band practicing, so he just started singing with them. It's kind of what it made me think of. But it's an interesting way to bring in a whole different style to the music. So it leans in a kind of a goth direction, which I like a lot, just because of the preponderance of very low male vocals in goth music.
Yeah.
I thought it was so cool, so atmospheric. I even gave you shit about your strings slapping on your frets there.
Yeah.
But I think in the
which
end,
we figured out was intentional, right?
Well, it adds to the atmosphere a lot. I think it's
the idea behind that was I wanted it to like really flubber, so it sounds like it's like almost like water, with the chorus. So I had some fret noise, but I also play really hard on that part.
Oh yeah.
And so I have some fret noise, and then I ran it through a Rat on full. Like the top end of the like bass amp, and so I have one. I should clarify. I should have one amp for like the sub bass and one amp, like a guitar amp actually, for the like top frequencies. So I like had a Rat on full, and then I just had a chorus, like a Boss Super chorus, I think it was, or something. So trying to make that weird sound.
Yeah.
But, so is it a 3-piece bass guitar, drums?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
It's
what do you guys tune to, out of curiosity?
It's different on different songs. So we drop to C sharp. Usually that's most of the songs. But then we have some that are in B, and I think one song is in like A or something. So it's a little bit different, and so I have so for like a live instance, I have this bass, the Area Pro, and that I would use for like the brighter songs, and then I would use I have like a Schecter 5-string bass that I use for the lower stuff.
Yeah, I don't think enough bands play around with tunings. There's really, it's like listening to that King Gizzard show yesterday. Just the fact that they're all playing those microtonal guitars, it just gives a completely different flavor to all the music. And even just changing your tunings can do the same thing. It's really most important for guitar. For bass players, it's just a pain in the ass if you don't know how to transpose, because you just have to retune or have a bunch of instruments. But for guitars, it's really important because tuning affects what your open strings versus your fretted strings do, and being able to create different sounds and textures and chords with what open strings are ringing out based on your tuning, I think is really what drives tuning changes to be so important in how the music sounds overall.
Yeah. So I totally agree. That's our thought with it, is that it's not that we play really simple riffs by design. So one way to kind of vary the feel of the riffs is to have different tunings, of course, just as you So it's a powerful tool that should be used, I think.
Yeah, and so when you guys are writing songs, and this is an area of interest for me in general, is like, do you come in with the plan? Do you guys just jam around a riff? How much of it is intentional versus how much of it is sort of spontaneous in the practice room?
So this record we rehearsed because of the pandemic and everything. We rehearsed once as a band, like
Oh, wow.
the first time, and just kind of threw together. Like Kenny had most of the riffs, and then we kind of sorted some in the structures, and and the time we met after that, we recorded the album live.
Oh, wow.
So like and did all of the basics, and then we kind of came up with the most of the other stuff in the studio.
Okay.
So, but the whole concept of the concept album and all the lyrics and everything was written in Kenny by Kenny in beforehand. And he's the one who does all the art. He and his wife, by the way, he does it himself.
So are those? So I was looking at it. They look almost like block prints to me. Or is it digital art, or is it like something physical that you turned into the cover?
It is physical art. So we had a
It's
lot
really-
of.
I thought so.
Yeah. So which we scan. A lot of it is just done with a pen. So he kind of does the like sketch for what it's gonna be, and then he fills it out with a pen, all the black. So that's kind of what he does a lot. So that's So it's kind of punk scene-esque, but
A little bit, yeah.
doom punk scene-esque.
Yeah, I'm gonna
Exactly.
share my screen for people who are watching YouTube so that you can actually get a look at it. It
Sure.
is. I think it's really unique, and it stood out in its simplicity. And I totally would have original guessed that you guys were a punk band.
Mhm.
Like,
Oh, yeah.
totally. But then I don't know. There was something different about the subject matter maybe
Yeah.
that made it look a little bit different. Like, here's the gate into the. So what's the story? What's the concept?
So the concept is played out in somewhere maybe in the Himalayas in the 1920s. A band of 50 brave men and one archaeologist find this portal, this gate into a lost civilization, and of course, driven by greed and by the glory, they enter this realm. So the album is them threading through all of the stages of this former civilization. They find a huge abandoned city and the abandoned garden full of vile creatures, and they start to die by one, and by the end, like, they're overtaken by wild living mushrooms, and it's only the archaeologist left, and he then they find the god that this civilization once worshipped when they existed. They find the archaeologist finds this god who has actually tricked them all the time to come down into his realm, so that he can change places with the archaeologist. So
Yeah.
he is the archaeologist is then consumed by this old god and becomes
Wow.
one with him.
It's quite a concept.
Yeah.
It's fun. It's
I like
fun.
that.
It's fun.
Yeah, I totally thought like the artwork. It looks like it's those black paper etchings.
Yeah.
Where
Yeah.
you scratch black. I don't even know what that's called. The black scratch paper.
I don't know.
Yeah.
But like you scratch out, and underneath it is white or silver or something
Yeah.
like that. But
So-
so he actually colors in all the black. That's
Yeah,
crazy.
so that it's kind of just the opposite of that.
Yeah.
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 So maybe we should get him some of that paper so he can, save some time.
Save himself some
Seriously.
time.
Yeah.
Except it's my kids loved it. It's messy. It's like scratch off lottery tickets.
Yeah, it's
It
like
leaves
scratch off
that-
lottery
It
tickets.
leaves that film everywhere
Yeah.
once you scratch the black off.
And then you have to clean it up.
Yeah.
Yes, indeed. So
Yes, because children do not do that themselves.
So if you
Yeah,
haven't
yeah.
listened to it yet, go to the Cavern Deep Bandcamp page and
Yeah.
listen to the 4 tracks from Waterways that are up now. It's really different, and if you're just in the mood for something that's completely not what you're used to listening to, but you like heavy, moody music, it's worth a shot. It's a good, like, you get in a rut of listening to the same things, and then this is the kind of music that will like shock me out of a rut and then start me down a rabbit hole of like listening to Tom Waits or something, something totally different. It's like a mood switcher.
Yep.
So. Yeah. It's
well done. So
yeah.
When's the full release?
We don't know exactly yet. We're releasing it through Interstellar Smokeler Records through Jack.
I saw that.
Right.
Yeah. I'm reasonably friendly with Anthony Gaglia from Lagoon.
Oh yeah,
and,
which just released his own album,
a solo record.
Yeah, like yesterday, right?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, Interstellar Smoke. Oh, that's Lagoon. Yeah, he's a really good
From
dude.
Portland?
From Portland, and super prolific. Like
Cool.
Again, a guy who just has like music leaking out of him, and I think the ability to track it himself.
Yeah.
And so there's no barriers. This has been, man, the time of the soup to nuts creator. If you have the tools to do this just by yourself, then you're King Gizzard or you're Francis or you're Trevor Church, or we have people all around the world apparently with the ability to do it.
Yeah.
And you guys are putting out music too. That's cool. So the underlying tracks are a live take.
Yeah.
And then you layered some stuff on top.
Yeah, so we layered some extra fuzz guitars. We go with a rat pedal, which is of course not a real fuzz pedal. But just a rat on full, So we go with that. There's a helicopter, ghetto bird above me. Can you hear it, or is it okay?
No,
I
can't hear it at all.
I can't
All
hear
right.
it.
So
Is it live takes like you're all in the room together? Or are your amps isolated?
So there's some isolation, and the bass is actually recorded by itself. So it's Kenny and Dennis who like place all the things together first with a click. No, not with a click, without a click. Sorry,
Without a click.
without a click. And then we kind of layer some like distorted guitars on like some parts where we need it to be a bit powerful, and then put on some leads, and of course the vocals are tracked by themselves. So, but if you want to listen to how it sounds completely live, we just released live from the studio recording where everything is 100% live from one of the songs, which is a new song also, which can only be heard in that format called Leap of Faith.
Is that on Bandcamp?
It's only on YouTube right
only
now.
on YouTube. All right, go to find Leap of Faith, Cavern Deep on YouTube. I'm gonna have to check that out.
I'll have to check that out for the show.
Yeah. So we're releasing 5 songs in that kind of from that session. I think it's 5. Yes, and 2 of them are coming out through. There's a German festival called Doom Farm Fest, and they have an online festival now the next Saturday. So we're releasing Deeper Grounds and Fungal Realm, like live versions of
the
those.
live tapes.
Yeah. So through that festival, so you can watch that live stream if you are interested.
Yeah. I have watched. I can't watch all the live streams.
No,
some of them,
it's not possible.
It's not possible. But I have been trying. It's no substitute for going to shows.
No,
it
it's
isn't.
not.
But it scratches a little bit of the itch. Maybe, I don't know. Especially yesterday, watching that King Gizzard set definitely was the closest thing to like I'm watching music right now.
By the way, did you catch that insane like flip he did with his leg to like turn on a pedal?
Yes.
Like
I did.
It's insane.
He's nuts. And I love, it's like once you get to a certain level, sometimes you might have like all of your effects and stuff controlled off stage by a tech who's got the show computer and like the timing for everything, so you don't have to dance around and do it. But man, I love watching somebody work a pedal board.
Yeah.
and I love even when big bands still just have a pedal board set up that they go with, because you just I don't know. You can kind of replicate it. You can mostly, if you don't, you can sound more like the record. But you never know what he's gonna do. He's step on a couple pedals, and I think they incorporate a bit of improvisation and leave room for weird stuff to go on,
which is nice. You don't want it to sound exactly like the record. At least not me. I want the a little bit unique experience, and also touring with racks. I am never fucking doing that again. We did that.
Really?
Yeah, we toured and had. Are you familiar with the XFX2?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So we had those, and we're touring with racks with those, with like automatic effects and everything, with scenario for quite some time. But man, do racks break? Yeah, like cables and. And you have to go in there, and the interface stops working, and it's a mess.
It's too much computers, and I know that if all else goes wrong, I can always just plug direct into my amp and just click on the overdrive channel and just play that way.
Yeah,
and it will sound good.
Yeah,
that's weird.
Exactly.
Computers are really reliable.
Yeah,
they never break.
Yeah, but you know what else is really reliable? Fucking valve amplifiers. Good God, with like ancient. The ancienter, the better. When
the ancient ones.
When you're buying tubes, man, people will buy vintage Russian tubes that are 60 years old.
Sovtech. Yeah.
Yeah. Knock on wood, though, the meat smoke has been incredibly reliable.
I heard that's good.
Yeah, it's a fantastic amp. It's a fucking tank. It's like a 90-pound head, I think.
I've loaded that thing in and out of mini shows.
Yeah. But
I'm sorry to hear
that. It's actually I just had Jake from Phantom Hound came down to our practice studio because he plays regular 6-string and then he plays a baritone, and he's looking for a new amp, and he's like, I want something that's like really that produces the lows really well, and it takes pedals, has a really nice clean channel, and the Meat Smoke actually runs clean guitar really beautifully. So he came down and spent about an hour beating up the Meat Smoke, and man, it sounded so good.
Did you make him carry it around a little bit?
Nah. We just left it in place. But no, there are tons of heavy bands that have standardized around that amp for everyone, bass and guitars, like Russian Circles. I think that's all they use.
Yeah, we have this local band called in Umeå, where I'm from, called Meshuggah. You might have heard of it. They also
I've heard of them once or twice.
They also do that. I know. Just only Axe effects, or if it's Kemper or whatever.
Yeah. And people are changing what they like. Oh, I was going to say, they only use Meat Smokes? No, that would shock me.
That would be amazing.
Yeah, that would be really cool.
No, it's funny, like, I don't listen to a ton of their contemporaries, if that's even a thing. They're kind of a unique band.
Yeah, do they have?
Yeah.
But, man, when I'm in the right mood, there is nothing that satisfies besides Meshuggah.
Yeah.
I mean, it's like there's a certain mood I have, and there's like, that's the only, it's like, all right.
Yeah, you just went down another
Meshuggah. It's time to listen to Obzen again and like punch a wall or something.
Yeah. So, as I said, I've been like really jaded with the metal scene lately, but there are bands that are doing some great stuff, and especially I feel like the like stoner metal, doom metal, sub underground scene is amazing, and the people are like, all of that crab culture that's just prolific in the rest of metal just isn't there in the same level, and people are really nice. I guess they're smoking a lot of weed, so that it kind of correlates, I guess. But
that's it.
But yeah, so that's really something that's given me hope for the future of like rock and metal, and like all that neo psychedelic stuff. It's just so good, man, and it's going to be interesting to see if it's like it's because it is kind of its own thing right now. It's not integrated so good or a lot with like the rest of metal. So it's going to be interesting to see if it like becomes its own thing, like its own like scene or keeps being, I guess, or if it like integrates with the rest of metal, like a lot of other stuff has. Like everyone hated glam rock or glam metal, in the 80s, and it's definitely part of the space now. But then again, grunge didn't integrate, I guess. So
yeah, no, that stayed relatively separate.
Yeah.
There are, so it comes up all the time because I think it's an example of this kind of innovation. But a festival like Psycho shows how disparate genres can kind of flow together in a way that makes sense. But I have noticed, maybe it's the bands that they pick or the kind of the subgenres that Evan focuses on. Everybody seems to be pretty cool. It's missing a lot of the bullshit, and it's black metal, and it's we got a cat butt.
Yes,
you just missed it. we love a cat appearance. It's been a while.
Yeah,
what's your cat's name?
Its name is Bob, and it's a she.
Bob.
Yeah,
Bob the cat.
So yeah, she didn't mess anything up. Fortunately, he landed on the keyboard here.
Oh wow, that's funny.
Oh, it's a girl cat named Bob.
Yeah.
I like that. That's awesome.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think it'll kind of stay separate. I don't know. It depends on where you are too. But it does seem to be mostly made up of people that I can tolerate more than some other arms of the metal world.
Yeah, for sure.
Like even in the U.S. black metal, like U.S. black metal has a different kind of culture and scene than, if you go back to
black metal.
the source to Scandinavian, and I'm sure it's even diversified in different countries in Scandinavia. The scene that I'm super interested in Sweden is there's kind of like a vintage rock, like proto metal up until like new wave of British heavy metal, like Saturn, the band that I talked about, that Robin Tidebrink played in Lucifer for a bit.
Yeah,
but like that whole orbit of bands, and there's what's the Star
Hellas.
Horizon.
No.
Yeah, Hellas. Yeah.
Hellas,
They're Swedish.
Yeah.
I mean, those last two records are like
they're great,
incredible. Yeah, I
good.
love that stuff.
That's the stuff I can't stand.
Oh, you can't do it?
I just can't do it. I can't. I just can't.
I love it.
So Gudashim.
It's like it just replicates that 70s rock sound way too perfectly for me. Like it just doesn't stray for me.
I think they have enough. I think they House have at least enough extra flavor that it's not that pure derivative. And something about the keyboards. It gets more psychedelic.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah.
So than the like album rock from the 70s.
So actually, that scene is actually what has kind of become the like doom metal and stoner metal scene now in Sweden. Monolord, for instance.
Yes.
Thomas there. He actually played in one of those bands for the longest time called Marulk. Really? Yeah. Which was one of the big bands in that scene. And Gudashimning is like a progressive version of that scene, which Dennis and Kenny is from. And honestly, the best bands in that scene, you've probably not heard because they sing in Swedish.
Yeah, send me links. I'll listen to people sing in any language. I don't care at all.
What are some of those bands?
So there's like some of those like more rock, like proto rock things are like Abramis Brahma, Marulk.
I said
here I am. I'm like gonna type.
He was gonna type them.
Nope.
Sorry.
Oh, it's okay. It's our fault.
Could you spell that? No, I'm just kidding.
And there's this big band that's getting really big now called Gaupa, which is also one of those bands, and that's really good. And then there's like Swedish fast stoner metal, which is also like only in Swedish. There's this band called Skräcködlan, which you might have heard. Skräcködlan is dinosaur in Swedish. It directly translates to giant lizard of terror. Basically.
Oh wow! There you go. That's isn't that what Tyrannosaurus? One of the terror lizard is one of the names.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So
well, then there's Graveyard, who we were supposed to see the last Psycho that we went to, but they ended up not being able to get their shit together to fly to Vegas.
Yeah, they are. I guess they are a bit messy band, like internally, but they are really good as well. I like them. But yeah, if you're gonna check out one band from the Swedish scene right now, I would check out that you probably haven't heard, because I'm guessing you have heard Vokonis, because that is like the best thing that's happening right now, probably.
See that I like Vokonis.
Yeah, but that's so. If you like that, you should probably check out Skräcködlan. They are really good, like really psychedelic, like high end, kind of like Vokonis. They've played a lot with Vokonis here in Sweden. So they're a really cool.
Send us a link to that one.
Yeah, for sure.
I can share it.
I'll fix that.
Yeah, I know I've gone down just rabbit holes, and where listening to Spotify, you listen to one band and then they recommend all the others that you think you like. Yeah, and it was like almost every band that I did like was like Swedish. Oh, they're Swedish. Oh, they're Swedish. Oh, it's like holy shit. Like,
another one that came up earlier in the podcast was Yuri Gagarin, who I absolutely love all of those records, and he just re-released a bunch on vinyl, and I was gonna order them, but like the crazy shipping just stopped me in my tracks. But,
yeah.
I'd love to have that stuff on vinyl.
Yeah, for
and
sure.
I've seen Truck Fighters. There's a rumor that they're gonna start playing again.
Truck Fighters are Swedish?
Yeah. They're from Örebro. A good friend of mine called Fredrik, which he plays in a great grindcore band called Grid. Actually played in Truck Fighter for quite some time.
Oh wow.
Yeah. So, but yeah, they're a great band. Yeah.
That's awesome. There was a band that I discovered like probably 2 years ago that I fucking fell in love with, called the Moth Gatherer.
Those I haven't heard.
Of them?
No.
Oh my god, they're so good.
What are they like?
What kind of music?
What would you call? It's probably doom-ish, heavy, but more almost like if ISIS had regular kind of singing, screamy vocals, but not like. Never mind.
The Moth. What are they called?
Moth Gatherer.
I'll have to check that out then. Sounds like
they're really good. I love them.
Yeah. It sounds like something right up my alley.
Yeah, so they classify themselves as post-metal.
Post-metal? Yeah. So that's about right.
Sometimes,
where does it say they're from?
Sometimes those lines are really hard for me to figure out the difference between the post-metal band. Post-metal's got some more delay and reverb.
Yeah.
I really liked them. A lot.
Yeah.
Jangly parts.
Yeah.
Ordos.
Yeah.
Mammoth Storm.
Yeah. It's a lot of good post-metal bands, but
good.
kind of feels like.
So why so many bands and good bands from such a small place? Like what's in the culture that
support of the arts?
Yeah, well, I mean, I assume it's something like that. But is it does everybody get music education?
Yes. So.
Ding ding ding.
So everyone can get music lessons for free by professionals from the States.
Oh my god!
When you're a kid, and you even get the instrument. Like they lend you the instrument. So if you're a really poor kid and you can't, your family can't afford you a guitar, they will lend you a guitar so you can learn, and you get like a guitar teacher, and that sit down with you like once a week and practice and teach you stuff. And so Sweden is actually the greatest exporter of music per capita in the world. Because of this.
Don't doubt that at all.
Yeah, it's really simple. Just simple. Like our kids get music. They go to they go to a good public school.
Sure.
They get in elementary, so like kindergarten through fifth grade, they get like an hour a week maybe, or an hour every other week. Starts with choral, so they just sing. Then they sing in groups, and then by fifth grade, everybody gets to take home a recorder. a song flute, a shitty plastic flute. That's what. And they learn like 5 notes.
Oh,
maybe at the most.
Yep.
And then
Yeah.
our kids actually for middle school, which is junior high is like 6th, 7th, 8th grade,
Yeah.
go to in our district what is an arts magnet school. So it's still the public school, but they heavily focus on art. So our kids
Nice.
now have access to an incredible orchestra program, a jazz band program, a choir, but they just lost a year and a half of it.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, because I
Yeah.
mean, they've still been having class. My daughter plays drums and
Yeah.
she's in the jazz band.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
But there's only so much you can do.
So are they having like everything over Zoom and such?
Yeah.
They're trying.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah. So they focused on individual instrument progress more rather than focusing on, putting songs together and playing concerts. But like normally at the end of the year last year, they would have all the band members, choir members, and orchestra members would get to go to Disneyland to perform at a school concert series that they do.
Nice.
And then go into a real recording studio in LA and record.
What?
So they missed out on that now.
Oh no.
2 years in a row.
Years.
Oh man. That
I know, right?
that is really cool though that they have that.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
Well,
Nice.
We pay for it.
We're lucky, we're lucky that we get to live in that school district.
Yeah,
Yeah,
no,
sure.
it is really cool. But man, I don't know how we convince people in charge of the problem is people in charge of education in this country is every state and then every county. Like the federal oversight of education is very minimal and spending is low.
Yeah.
Some people would have you think otherwise, but our federal government spends very little
Well,
money.
especially for extracurricular.
Yeah. But I don't know who you'd have to convince that, like, man, people who learn music and additional languages from an early age just do better at school and are better equipped for life in general. I wish.
Well, and you have the Swedish government will, like, you have arts grants, right?
Oh yes.
So, like, they will pay for you to tour and give you money to do so and record
And not only to like the fine arts and stuff, like to death metal bands as well. They will do it. Like so it's an integral part of Swedish society that we invest a lot of time and money into the culture. I think it was a Swedish prime minister called Olof Palme. He unfortunately got shot with this, which is a really sad story. The only Swedish prime minister who got shot, but he's a democratic socialist. He was a democratic socialist, just like Bernie Sanders is.
Yeah.
He said that, if we're not, even in the hard times, going to invest in culture and in what makes life fun, then what are we living for? If we're just grinding for the industries and what's the point?
You're living to be a unit of labor for someone to use is what we've been convinced in this country is the right way to do things.
Yeah, and I
clearly is not.
Well, it is important that we like achieve stuff together and
you have to produce.
Yeah. And working for a good company, making like good products that people need. There's nothing wrong with that, but you need both. I think. Yeah. You need culture, and we should.
Somebody's got to make the Swedish fish.
Yeah.
Yeah. Someone has to.
I bet you they get paid a living wage to do it.
Probably.
They're not a chicken farm in the middle of Nebraska that's 70% staffed by illegal immigrants.
No.
You get paid nothing under the table. So
that was a horrible
so we can have cheap chicken.
Yeah, no. So
Swedish fish are actually Swedish, but
so the Swedish fish people there, they will probably get like the median. It's maybe like $17 or something in Sweden.
An hour?
Yeah, an hour, exactly.
Oh, good.
Yeah. So they are probably...
So here's the thing that will blow your mind. People who don't live in this country. So our federal minimum wage is whatever, $7.75. It's insane. Do you know if you work in a tipped position? So if you're a waiter or a bartender, you have a different minimum wage because they make assumptions about tips. It is legal to pay a waitress or a bartender $2.75 an hour.
What?
That's what they make.
What?
Yeah.
That's nothing.
Because we're gonna contribute the rest by tipping them.
Oh yeah, we got rid of the tipping culture in Sweden. Like we tip
I would love that.
We tip sometimes when we think something is really really good. You know, to give someone if someone's been really really nice, just done a really good job, and the food was great. You know, you give some extra. But it's actually quite customary to not give tips in Sweden because we think that the restaurant owners should pay.
Correct.
Pay a good salary, you know, and you know we get like for instance, if someone would want to join a workers union in Sweden and like a restaurant owner would try and force them not to, that would be illegal. So I think that's we have a lot of stuff like that, but you know, taxes in Sweden aren't too high. Like we have a lot of social spending, but like I pay maybe 26% taxes on my income, so
that's the marginal rate. I honestly, that's the same marginal rate. Well, that's federal, and then states another, and California is another, depending on what you make, like 7 to 10%.
Okay.
So I actually pay more.
Oh, interesting.
And we get less.
And I pay sales tax.
Yeah.
And I pay property tax for owning property.
Yeah, we have some.
We
have some of those taxes as well in Sweden, and of course, like if you go over a certain sum, like if you make like more than $5,000 a month, you pay 50% taxes in Sweden, like over the board.
Oh wow!
So if you are really wealthy, you pay more. Yeah. And we also tax all the microtransactions on the stock market and such. So by 20%. So some rates are definitely higher in Sweden.
Yeah. That's, if you ask the average American, hey, what do you think the tax rate is in Sweden? They'd say something dumb like 90%.
Yeah. No, it's not.
And I think it's obfuscated on purpose in this country to make us think that that our tax rates are low, but you add up all the different places where you get taxed, it's like we're living
tax rates are not low.
in a socialist democracy, except we just don't get any say in any of the benefits of it because it all goes to pay for the military.
Exactly.
I wonder what percent of your government spending is for military.
So
I'm guessing it's not half.
Sweden used to have a huge military. We used to have the third biggest military spending in the world after Russia and the USA in the Cold War.
Wow.
Because the Swedish plan was, we are not in NATO, we are neutral. So the Swedish plan was to like arm ourselves to the teeth, such that if there would be a Cold War, like the US and the Soviet Union would just go around us. They wouldn't bother, It would be too much of a hassle invading Sweden, So we used to have a huge military, but we don't anymore. We totally dismantled it after the end of the Cold War, and now we just have we have a military that steps in like in natural disasters and helps. Like now in the COVID pandemic, they've set up like rudimentary hospitals and helped with testing, and they do stuff like that. But
that's like our National Guard, which is part of the military, but not a very small part.
Yeah. So we have like that, but other than that, we don't have a really much more of a military. We I guess we don't need it, and it's been peace in Sweden for 200 years. So we don't like war here. We don't.
Yeah, no, we. Not a big fan myself.
But
All right, hey, who's got merch?
I have merch.
You have merch?
I know you.
I know you
also
went
have
record shopping, Max.
Yeah.
I don't because I forgot to bring my records over. That is a really good one too. I had a really great King Gizzard record that I just got.
Oh,
or did I already show that one off?
Which one?
Oh, showed that one off. It's the one that's a bunch of live recordings.
Oh yeah. The one with the red and black cover, or is it the Chunky Sharpnel one?
It's that one.
Yeah, that one is good.
Yeah, I haven't even listened to it yet. I'm excited to listen to it. So maybe I'm gonna put that on today.
Yeah, for sure.
Shanky Sharpnel. I love the
Shanky Sharpnel.
the album titles.
Yeah.
Sharpnel or shrapnel?
I'm not sure if it.
I am not
It
sure.
could be either.
It could be either.
Shrapnel's not a word, but you wouldn't put that past King
But
Gizzard.
King Gizzards, Wizards. It's what Polygon Wanda.
Yeah.
They're just making up words left and right.
Yeah, for sure.
Why don't you show us what you got at the record store today?
Okay, so one thing that I got just a day ago is in the mail actually is this. I don't know if you have heard
that
it.
looks cool.
Yeah, it's gold plated.
Yeah.
It's a band called Cult of the Wizard, which is
Cult of the Wizard.
yeah. So if you haven't heard this, you should definitely check this out. This is a great band. They're from Minneapolis. And have a lady singing over like really gloomy doom metal with like, and they have like doom metal ballads which are just haunting.
Oh, really?
Yeah. On the end of the album, and the two last songs are just fantastic. And you can order this by it's from Interstellar Smoke Records, and it has this gold vinyl kind of deal.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Oh, very nice.
A
Yeah,
lot
we're
of gold going on.
looking at it on Bandcamp right now.
Yeah. And then the
Very
record
cool.
is called Gold. Yeah. So
We'll have to wrestle whores for that title.
Yeah.
So you we listened to you on the Susie record. Have you had a chance to listen to her band, Broom?
yeah, I've actually I was very glad to see that Broom was that she was the guest. Because I had listened a lot to Broom before. I liked the Rabbit record a lot.
Yes.
And, I know Kenny, the other singer in the band, also really likes Broom, so we were kind of ecstatic that she liked the
That's
music.
good.
Yeah.
Well, and
That's
I mean, like we said in the episode, I could 100% hear Susie's voice mixed in with what you guys are doing there. I think she said she's already got a couple collaborations going on as a result of the podcast.
Yeah,
They
well,
really are.
well, if Susie, if you're listening and you want to guest on our next album, you're very welcome to. We would be honored.
Oh, that'd be sweet.
That'd be
Yeah,
so cool.
that would be cool.
Yeah. I love that kind of juxtaposition of the high, beautiful vocal and the low, terrifying music like Mammoth Weed Wizard Bastard or or Broom. There's a bunch of different bands.
Yeah, it gets so haunting somehow. It's really good. Yeah. So another record.
We were
sorry.
Yeah, let's see. I was gonna say we went to the album release show for that Rabbits record was in San Francisco, and JD and I went and hung out and bought merch, and it was a really fun show. They had some special guests and
Cool.
did some cool stuff.
Yeah.
There's another band it's similar, but oh my God,
Graceon. Yeah.
Have you heard Graceon?
No, I have not.
Graceon they're great. They have like that really kind of heavy guitar, a little bit faster than Broom.
Okay, yeah.
But then the singer is also a woman. She plays cello.
Oh.
And so it's cello replaces the bass, and then they have a drummer and a guitarist.
Cool.
And, they're incredible. You should definitely check them out.
Yeah, they're kind of local legends. Her Jackie from Graceon's husband or boyfriend was in a band called Giant Squid.
That sounds familiar somehow.
Yeah, they were a big deal. Graceon opened like when Sleep did 3 nights at the at the Great American Music Hall for New Year's. A couple years ago. Graceon opened one of the 3 nights. They're well known.
Actually, I think she guested on one of the songs on
Jackie
Rabbit, too.
Jackie played on one of the songs on Rabbits. She played. There's some cello.
Cool. Oh yeah, I've heard that song. Yeah, cool. Yeah, the Broom is a great band. I love them. So here is another purchase that I actually also got in the mail recently, just a day ago. So this needs look. So this is Griffin, if you're familiar with them. If not, they're a really cool band. They're really old by now, but they were really big in the prog era, and in the 70s they toured with like the likes of Genesis and Yes and
Yes.
everything.
Yeah, I have listened to Griffin.
Yeah.
I'm looking at the covers on my computer. It's hard to see
Yeah.
when you held it up.
So it's like very trippy, kind of Renaissance combined with prog rock kind of thing, and it's really, really good. And they played a lot in the 70s, and then they disbanded, and they've actually reunited now. So this is their new record, which they just recently released, and it's really good.
I'm looking at pictures of them from what must be now.
They look like they were from San Francisco.
Holy shit. One of the records that I bought that I was going to bring was a Van de Graaff Generator record.
Oh, yeah.
So, like, trying to go outside of the British prog that we were all, that we all sort of grew up on and thought of as the template for prog, when there's actually a lot of different ways to do it.
Yeah,
which may
sure.
come up again later today, actually.
Cool.
Interesting.
So I really like Griffin, and this record is great. You have to buy it on vinyl or CD if you want to listen to it. So
there's no digital anywhere.
wow.
No.
Well,
I don't think so. There's like snippets of it on YouTube, but that's it.
Not the whole thing.
So and that
Check that out.
Yeah. So do you guys? I have some more merch which I bought today. But
King Crimson?
Some King Crimson. Huh?
yeah. But do you guys have any cool stuff?
What'd you
I
buy?
got a couple.
What'd you
and
buy?
I got a couple that these were also. I figured it was appropriate because these are also both bands that had submitted songs to us.
Cool.
And ended up loving them. So this one is Shepherd.
Oh yeah. I think I listened
Shepherd
to that.
was
that
they were a
episode.
band in Denver. I think it's just a regular black. Oh no, it's not. It's pink.
Oh.
Ooh.
Oh no, it's orange. Look at that.
I want to see if it's got credits.
Cool.
Yeah, they submitted us. This is the band that we thought had the bomb string,
Ah, yeah.
but in fact they just tune everything to A.
There you go.
But they're really good. I loved them. Destruent Records, I think, is the one. Yeah.
Here, let me check it out.
So you can check that out. And then also this one is Dead. So this
Oh,
is
wow.
sort of that sludgy noise band from Australia.
That looks very
that
cool.
They submitted to us and absolutely loved it. This is the pink one.
Wow.
Yeah, that's the pink one.
That's really nice.
And then they had what was in here? Oh, it's kind of cool because they had like this this cool little like letter press.
Wow. So
It's like a screen printed board numbered 56 of 113. 113. That's such an odd number for a record, but
yeah. yeah. But that looks really cool. So you said it was like sludge-ish, like noise.
It's kind of like a noise sludge. Sort of that. A lot like we've been getting a lot of submissions from these Australia bands that are very. It's kind of like really
Big business.
Yeah,
Melvins.
Big businessy like Melvins. It's creative. It's not just that normal like noisy sludge. Like especially this one. This Dead is super creative. So like they have some songs that start off and they're just heavy and sludgy, and then by the end of the record, you've got like some really creative, not as sludgy and heavy songs.
And there's a lot of, if I remember, there's a lot of like time signature changes, and so it's not all like straight 4/4 sludge. It's kind of
just a two-piece
herky jerky.
Really good though.
Cool. So today at the record store, I got the Face record. Oh, we should probably say the Face record is King Crimson's Court of the Crimson King.
Yes.
For those
The
all
Face
listening on audio. It's the first issue. Oh
wow!
I was in the permanent shame of not owning this record, so I finally got it.
Now you do.
And the first issue.
Yeah. So it was expensive.
I can imagine.
Yeah. But it sounds great. So
That's awesome.
I kind of need to go to the bathroom. Can I do that?
Oh yeah.
Go for it.
We'll vamp.
Okay.
It happens a lot.
Be right back.
Don't worry about it.
I'll be quick.
We'll get set up. Okay. Oh, makes me jealous for not living somewhere like Sweden where you get automatic arts education, including specialized instrument instruction and instruments.
Yeah, it's not just school. Not just if you want to take band at school.
Yeah, it is interesting to hear the pandemic stuff because it was very much pitched in the States as like we're just doing it.
Swedish is just going about life and it's working out for them.
And if you're weak, stay home and we'll take care of you. You know, you can be taken care of otherwise. And clearly
no.
They passed a law, no gatherings over 8 people. So clearly they're not
a law like yeah that's it's interesting. I know. I think we've talked probably less about music and more about culture in this episode, but it's interesting.
Not too surprising. Most of our guests so far culturally have come from a place not too dissimilar from us. So, I mean, we can get into the details of Salt Lake versus Philadelphia or whatever, but it's all Salt Lake's like that's another country.
Yeah, that is another country all on its own. Yeah, exactly.
Our very own little theocracy.
It really is a theocracy.
Yeah. So it's funny. Right. We'll see when we get to the Bandcamp selection, which is coming up here, how perfectly it dovetails with some things we've already talked about, and I didn't even intend it that way.
So when you went to stand up, I noticed you've got this big, interesting tattoo on your forearm.
Is
back of your forearm.
This one?
What is that?
Or this one?
I was talking about the red triangles, but
it's actually part of an old pagan symbol. So when it has 3 triangles, it stands for Odin, Hugin, and Munin. So this is just for Hugin and Munin, and then I have the class of Hugin and here, and here.
There we go.
Which is like the eyes and the knowledge of Odin represented in 2 birds. Yeah.
So if you rub them together, does it summon the devil or something? I'm giving you the American perspective. We hear the word the royal we hears the word pagan and starts freaking out about Satan. We really understand very little here. You can't convince Christians that Satan's your guy.
Yeah.
Like you guys,
you made Satan.
You invented him. We just steal it sometimes because it's funny, but it has nothing to do with anything pre-Christian.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, it probably does.
Yeah. So no, but we are very in tune still with our pagan roots here in Sweden. It's we still call like Christmas jul. And jul is the word for the midvinterblot, is where we, in the midst of the winter, we, would sacrifice animals and sometimes humans and such.
Yeah.
And we still call Christmas jul.
I would much rather call it Yule.
Yeah.
Here. We just spent 4 years with someone yelling that we tried to cancel Christmas, and with a large group of people actually thinking that was true.
Oh no!
Just because we said maybe say Happy Holidays sometimes instead of Merry Christmas.
Well, no, there is one holiday in December. Okay, there is one,
and it
around the world.
And it definitely has no pagan roots. Nope.
No,
not at all. Not at all.
Nope. Christmas didn't exist before Christ.
Yeah. But you have you have a lot of Jews in the US too, right? And they have Hanukkah.
Oh, yeah.
Right?
Oh, yeah.
So yeah.
This has been building ever since the sort of country was forced to acknowledge there's more than the dominant evangelical Christian culture in this country. Believe it or not, we have people from all over the place who have lots of different beliefs. I know. The one that made people the most angry is when we started talking about Kwanzaa, which is, I don't even know the history of Kwanzaa, but it's African American celebration around the holidays. And it was sort of like the outrage that Christmas isn't good enough, for them. They need their own. Oh, you get your own. Christmas wasn't yours. Seriously. You stole Christmas, motherfuckers, from people people in your neck of the woods.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So but we still have some, and we have the pagan tradition of Midsommar fortfarande. still, which
love
is where we drink a lot of alcohol and intoxicate ourselves a lot, and then we dance around like a phallus symbol made out of flowers, and sing. Yeah.
Straight to the point.
Dance until you drop.
Yeah.
This is the time to make babies, people.
The last person standing is the winner.
Yeah. Actually, the dancing is very, very family friendly, but it's usually it depends on how much alcohol, I suppose. But
So how much Swedish blood do you have to have in you in order to actually move to Sweden? No.
Get citizenship.
Yeah. So moving to Sweden, the thing is that you have to get like a job that's needed in Sweden to move to Sweden.
Yeah.
But that is not impossible. Like if you are in tech, for instance, like we need a lot of tech people. We are not educating enough people for that area of expertise as of now. So it is not impossible to move to Sweden at all, actually. But it's kind of a hustle, I would suppose.
Yeah, I can imagine. I spent a night here actually screwing around on Ancestry, like uncovering relatives as far back as I could go, and it corroborated what I've never done one of the genetic tests, but it corroborated what I sort of knew already, which was I go back to Germany, to England, and to Russia.
Cool.
And so I don't know if I'm enough of anything. Like it's probably, I'm guessing actually looking at it, Russian is probably the most common. So maybe I could go live in Russia if I want to.
If you want to.
Not real high on my list right now.
My wife's great grandparents were both born in Sweden.
Oh yeah.
She is Swedish heritage, but I mean that's great grandparents. So which means she's an eighth, I think.
Hey, that's something.
It's something, right?
Yeah.
You know the Andersons? Do you know the Andersons from Sweden?
So, the most common surname.
Yeah. Oh, could it be Anderson?
Anderson.
Yeah, I found out, and my dad has mentioned this before that I'm part of a line of like, I don't even know if this is a proper term anymore, Black Russians, but it was like people that moved back and forth between Russia and Germany, and then were part of the army, the Russian army that terrorized like Central Asia, Mongolia and stuff. So I actually have relatives that like lived in the part of Russia that's really not even Russia anymore. It's one of the some of the Stan countries.
Yeah.
So I'm fascinated to know like what my ancestors were involved in.
Yeah.
The kind of terrible shit they did.
Seriously.
Raiding in China,
Raiding
Mongolia.
and
Yeah. I have some terrible relatives as well, like like far back, like in the 1500s. I'm related to this guy called Severin Norby, which is in Sweden he's called a pirate, but in Denmark he's a hero. So he was quite the character, and like tricked the Swedish king into thinking he was on his side at some point, and then he blew up a Swedish castle and moved. It's a whole story, but yeah. So,
so your family, you have part of your family that comes from Denmark.
Far,
and they
far.
invaded Sweden.
Yeah. Far back. Like I've actually been able to find my ancestry back to I think the 1100s. Basically the Viking Age. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah,
I think the farthest I got back without doing any DNA was like the 1400s on one side.
Oh, that's really cool though.
On that Russian side. And then found out like heavy like pre-America pilgrim style routes, like people who came to Massachusetts and Pennsylvania before the United States even existed. So I bet a lot of that's documented. So I bet if I did some more digging, I could find out a lot more about who those people were. I've been down a rabbit hole of a show on PBS called Finding Your Roots, where it's like sponsored by Ancestry.com, and they bring celebrities and other notable people on, and they do like the full records forensic work, and then they do the DNA analysis to fill in the holes.
Cool.
And then they like walk them through, like, here's the story of your family. And they don't go down every path. I think they go down the paths that are interesting.
Yeah.
But it's a pretty cool show if you're interested in that kind of stuff.
Sounds right down my alley. Yeah. Been doing a lot of that.
Well, and a lot of they focus on two things that that are unique to America but interesting, and one is the fact that the ancestors of a lot of slaves there's no way to know. There's no paper trail.
Yeah.
And so most African Americans that are descended from slaves can't get back beyond some part of their enslavement, and definitely most of them can't get back to Africa to find out where they came from in Africa. So that's a big project that's going on, is to try and help like a whole giant group of people understand their family history before 1780 or whenever they were brought to the States. And then the second is Jewish immigrants, and their stories coming, escaping persecution in Europe and coming to America. So they always compare everyone's samples, and the more relatives they have on, the more comparison they have, and so they can identify if you have relatives. And they figured out that Bernie Sanders and Larry David are actually like close cousins.
What?
which is hilarious, because Larry David plays Bernie Sanders on Saturday Night Live.
Yeah, exactly.
That's
Interesting. Interesting.
All right.
You know what we should do?
We got more
We
music.
should listen to some more music.
Yeah,
Hell yeah, we
lots
should.
of tangents here, but I really am
I know,
enjoying
right?
them.
Fine.
Yeah, it's all good.
Yeah, of course.
All right. Yeah. If you
These are usually the parts when I'm listening to a long podcast where it's like, where's that skip forward button?
oh no, not me.
No, I love this
Crazy.
in a
All right.
podcast. Yeah.
All right. So the next band is called it's called Out of Nowhere.
Out of nowhere.
It's called Blynd Submyshynz? No.
It's called Out of Nowhere. The song is called Blind Crow, and the band is from Iran.
Ooh,
Oh, interesting.
interesting.
From Iran.
All right.
We've had some other bands on from Iran, haven't we?
Well, no. When on Armand's episode, there was the band that was from Germany.
Germany that
but-
sang in
in Farsi.
In Farsi.
Oh, cool.
It's actually not safe to be a metal band
No.
in Iran.
Yeah.
No.
So
That's,
I'm curious. I'm glad they submitted.
Or maybe I've just seen, because I always put our list together and I always see a lot of emails we get that are metal, like they put their life on the line to play metal.
Well, here's one of them.
Yeah,
So
okay.
this is Out of Nowhere 0.bandcamp.com.
cover.
The song is called Blind Crow.
Okay. Cool intro.
Yeah, I really like this so far. Okay, so
Thoughts?
yeah, I really like that. That was cool. I mean, it's nothing super duper unique, but it's executed excellently. And I like the vocals.
Yeah, the vocals
Yeah.
I liked a lot, actually, and I liked that he like went into a different character when he started singing again. It's like a style of modern metal that I don't really listen to very much.
Kind of genty.
Yeah.
It's,
same.
it's got some of the little gent hallmarks.
Yeah.
I'm gonna have to hear it not through the interface because that kick was there was some production stuff that
Yeah.
I'm not sure what it actually sounds like.
Yeah.
But either way, the details of that
Yeah.
kick drum were driving me nuts.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I mean, that sounded like triggers probably.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It didn't.
probably drum
But it's great.
machine.
Drum machine or triggers.
Yeah.
It was cool. I liked it. It's not what I was expecting.
Same.
But yeah, I thought it was cool. It's sort of like almost like a metalcore genty sound.
Okay. All right. So I'm scrolling through their releases.
Jeez.
And they have what would appear to be a cover of Chandelier by Sia.
What?
What?
Well, let's find out.
Oh, we have to listen to this. Yeah.
All right.
That almost sounds like something you would hear on rock radio.
Yeah, totally.
I mean, that could be like one of those songs that like breaks this band, and then people dig into their discography later.
Yeah. Exactly.
Here's a Billie Eilish cover.
Oh, interesting.
We don't have to listen to it, but they're just going for it.
And
Yeah.
they're in Iran. Wow.
Yeah.
So, all right. Well,
That's cool.
Yeah.
good for them.
It's not.
It sounds.
It's not really
ahead.
my kind of metal,
No.
I'm not really into that whole gent thing, but it's really well executed.
Yeah.
So very cool. Yeah.
Here we can see that we always buy records for each other. So I have 2 copies of Vaconis because I ordered one of each variant. Which one are you gonna want? You gonna want the orange and yellow and red one, or the blue?
Whatever.
Whatever. All right, we'll just play Eeny, Meeny, Miny, Mo. All right, what's next?
Yeah. Oh, are we done talking about that?
No, I don't know if we have anything else. I don't know if I have it. It's not my kind of metal, but good for them.
Yeah.
No,
Yeah.
it sounds like, honestly, I could see them becoming really popular.
Yeah.
Maybe they're really popular in Iran, but I could see them totally catching on here.
Yeah. They just need to like move to Sweden.
Not Iran.
Yeah, not Iran, so they can tour and everything. And
exactly. Europe.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. It kind of, especially that Sia song, it sort of reminded me of that. What's that band? I never really got into them at all.
We're gonna lose this one.
I know we're gonna lose this one. No, you'll
Chevelle.
Linkin Park.
Ugh.
Linkin Park.
At one point, the vocals reminded me a little bit of System of a Down. Nothing else about the production and everything, but just the vocals. Yeah, the harmonies.
I just listened to Surge. He was on Mark Maron this week.
On Mark Maron.
Yeah. If you listen to WTF, you can get a quick history of the Armenian genocide and his involvement in making governments around the world, including the Armenian government, recognize it.
Wow,
that's very cool.
So he's
cool.
a hardcore activist. They must have agreed ahead of time not to talk about it, but they have an issue right now because their drummer is like a hardcore right-wing Trump nutter.
Yep.
So how could Surge be in a band with that guy?
I don't know.
I know they're like
money
old friends, like old relatives.
Yeah, money.
Yeah, he must.
Yeah.
Although he doesn't seem the type, but maybe he is.
It must be hard to kick him out.
The thing about all that is, all of this polarization and everything. I feel like if you just get in a room with a person, you usually can get along. Like the divide between us isn't that big, really. It's just that the internet has just like the internet is just this place. Like if, for instance, you would like people would never fall for all of these conspiracy theories that are like bubbling around right now. Like if someone like let's say your buddy Jack or something would come up to you and tell you, hey, you know, my cousin was at this pizza place in Washington, D.C.
There were children. Okay, so I have an actual story to prove this.
Really?
Because I happen to be and I'm the wrong person for it, but I was in a band with one of those people once upon a time, and then I left the band, got kicked out, whatever. Mostly for challenging him too much. He was the singer.
Oh, I see.
And so we were rehearsing the night that of the 2016 election, right?
Oh,
and this guy hangs out at the practice studio, so he was just there bugging, and he was telling. We came out for break, and he was telling us. I had just checked, and they had just called it for Trump. And I walked out, and he went on this long diatribe about the deep state and how the Clintons decided this election was decided years ago, and Clinton's definitely already been elected, and on and on. I just let him go for a while, and then I just held up my phone and I showed him, and I was just like, "You're so full of shit, man." He was like, "What? How did that?" Because he's just built up his whole worldview that the deep state was blocking all of this.
Yeah.
It didn't. Why? Because they're not really that organized. And I mean, certainly there are powerful people with money doing shady shit.
For sure.
But not coordinated to that level.
No.
Yeah, not at all. And they're not, you know, having the time of their life with kids below pizza places.
No.
It's just not the case.
God. All right.
Yeah.
So,
okay.
Next band is Requiem for Oblivion from Erie, Pennsylvania.
Wow, this looks like it's going to be.
And this album is called Hindsight 2020.
Oh, interesting.
Uh-oh.
And the song is called Lies and Fire.
Let's have a listen. Okay, so I feel like violated, but maybe in a good way.
But I liked it. I really want to hear that in the through the right.
I think I need to hear that through the right.
Yeah, same.
There's a lot of stuff going on.
There's a lot of changes.
There was a lot of changes, a lot of crazy shit. They call themselves progressive extreme metal, blazing their own trail in the tradition of bands like Rush and Opeth. I'm down for all of that.
Sure.
Meaning,
I didn't hear either of those in there.
No,
But
they don't
me
sound
neither.
like Rush or Opeth. No, I don't think
they're blazing a trail in the tradition that those two blazed.
like
Sure,
assembling
sure,
lots
sure.
of long songs with weird parts and changes and shit like that.
Yeah.
Can he sing clean?
I don't know.
Like, and then everyone will hate them like Opeth.
Yeah, exactly.
After he started, I love. Is he any sort of hero? They're Swedish, right?
Yeah.
Okay. What's the opinion of Michael Ackerfeldt in Sweden? Because I think he's one of the funniest people on planet Earth. But I don't know if he comes across that way to anyone else.
Yeah, no, but he's very well liked in Sweden, and Opeth is very big in Sweden. It's a big thing. So yeah, especially in the like prog metal scene, he is the man. So and he's a really funny dude. He actually came up to us in Death Maze after we played at Sweden Rock and talked to us. So I've met him once.
Oh wow.
Yeah, a really
That's cool.
nice guy. Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, there's a YouTube series called What's in My Bag that's record store in Los Angeles.
I love
Amoeba.
that series.
So have you watched his episode?
Yes, it is great.
He kills me. He was like, honestly, we were kind of a crap death metal band, and we were really shit. And I was trying to figure out what to do, and then he saw Dream Theater.
Yeah.
But then the guy had on like a Slayer t-shirt or something or whatever, and he's like, "Oh, maybe we can mix these two together."
Yeah.
And that was the beginning of the beginning or the beginning of the end.
Yeah, and I really like the new. There's a lot of people that doesn't like when they stopped growling and everything, but I really like the new stuff as well. I think the last album they did was really good, and I really like the Swedish version of it.
Yeah. I started listening because we went. I think you went down another rabbit hole.
I just found the videos from the Live at Red Rocks.
Yeah, which was great.
Oh
my god,
an incredible venue. And
really
then
cool.
They're they were so good in that set.
Yeah,
I just ordered that record.
Oh, I need to.
Yeah.
I've been listening to that new record, and it's so good.
Yeah.
I mean, I told you, I hadn't listened to them since Blackwater Park. And I know that that was a change. That was when I think people started hating them.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah.
And I loved it. I thought that was an incredible album.
That is like the best
I
album.
heard the earlier stuff, and I wasn't too into it. And then it was like,
yeah, that one or the next one. I go back and forth.
yeah,
But even the newest stuff is good.
it's good. It's really
Yeah,
good.
yeah.
But yeah. No, this I would love to dig in further to this band. What is it? Requiem for Oblivion?
Requiem for Oblivion.
And they're from where?
They are from. I think I'm already on it. What are you seeing on your screen? I don't even know what I'm sharing
there we
anymore.
go. Okay.
Yeah, I'm seeing the Bandcamp with the hindsight. With
Pennsylvania.
Same thing.
Okay.
Yeah,
They look fair. Do they have any other albums?
Yeah, they do.
Oh.
It's funny they
man.
have changed their look a lot. So here's the 2011 version, and then this one was the one that I caught my eye. That must be. There's like it looks like the cover of the Doom video game.
Oh, it totally
Yeah.
looks like
It's like
Doom.
it's a
It
rip.
is. That's a Doom ripoff.
It's a Doom ripoff.
Yeah,
or
it
homage. Let's not call it a
that's
ripoff.
very intentional.
Yeah.
It's New York City,
What
right?
is that? That looks very new metal almost.
Yeah.
Scenes of brutality. Yeah. Oh, that's
That's
that's a bunch of different bands.
So here we go. Let's see, who are they on a compilation with?
Oh no.
Death Ticket.
I know.
So maybe Toke or maybe it's Choke.
Joke.
And I'm pretty sure that middle upper band is called.
The one in the center, Grey
Yeah.
Walker, and Risen Wolf. Yeah,
Risen
I've
Wolf.
never heard of any of these bands.
Yeah. Should we listen to a little more?
Yeah, I have one more.
Oh no, I meant on this.
Oh, this?
I
Yeah.
think we only gave him a minute. I mean,
We can give
than
him a little more than that.
Yes.
Heinz,
Let's go. How long is that song that we were listening
440.
to? Okay, so let's
halfway.
skip halfway and
Yeah.
give it.
Check it out.
Let's see. I want to see if we can clean sing.
All right, we had breakdowns.
Did we have breakdowns?
Yeah, they're insane.
Yeah.
That's very out
Wow.
there.
I can't wait to go back and listen to that. again.
Yeah, completely. It's hard to tell if it's like, I wrote this cool part, cool, put it right there. I wrote this other cool part, cool, put it right there.
Yeah.
Or if it's like really intentional, you know?
Yeah.
That's why I asked how many albums they have. I think it's intentional.
Yeah, I think so too.
Like, yeah, if this was like their first album, then it would be like a bunch of cool parts put into one song.
No,
Yeah.
that was like some real good stabbing music.
Yeah, I know, right? Chugga chugga harmonics, chugga chugga harmonics.
Yeah. It's kind of like they tried to combine like the slam with the like modern metal stuff, and then I almost hear some black metal tremolos and stuff in there too.
Yeah, there's some
Yeah.
tremolos and there's some blast beats, but the drum production, at least the way I'm hearing it right now, is so insane that I
Yeah.
can't figure out exactly what's
It's
going on. And I
really
mean that
weird.
It's cool, and this is what I want to hear. Like I want to think about. Like when I hear a song, I want to be challenged, and I want to think about it.
Yeah.
Like, did they mean to do this? Did they mean to do this? Is this intentional? Is this? Oh, I like how they did that. You know.
Yeah,
It's
yeah,
not
yeah.
like, okay, I know what's coming next. I know that we're gonna do this, and then we're gonna do this, and there's gonna be a solo.
Yeah, no, that definitely. I'm not sure. I want to go back and listen to it because I think it might be one of those things like Santos was talking about where I don't think they played the same thing twice.
It didn't sound
I
like
think
it.
it
Yeah.
just went like on a progression from one part to,
Yeah, it did not sound like it.
but we'll have to
Yeah.
check it out.
Yeah, that's true.
All right. So the final thing we have here is the Bandcamp pick.
Ooh.
And for today's journey into Bandcamp land, forget what you've been told about prog rock. The British bands that dominate its legacy tell only a sliver of the story. In the 70s salad days, nobody did prog like the Italians. Internationally known as RPI, Rock Progressivo Italiano, bands like Banco, L'Orme, and PFM stirred a distinctly Italian seasoning into the music.
Ooh, Italian seasoning.
It's a tasty.
That's good stuff.
Mixing homegrown influences with classical jazz and rock. Today, a new crew is taking up the mantle and pushing Italy's prog rock scene forward. So there was an exhaustive list. I swear to God, I think this article had like 25 bands in it
Whoa.
because Italians love their prog.
Wow.
Cool.
But I picked one. And the one that I picked is called Il Tempio delle Classidre.
That's the band? Oh, wow.
I have no idea what that means.
The classic
But
tempo.
let's... yeah, there you go.
Probably not.
Probably not. We got a great cover of weird...
It looks like Prague. That was a very proggy cover.
Oh, it's like the
Yeah.
figure that you use for drawing.
Yeah.
But he's got two
He's got the two
protractors.
gods from your forearm.
Yes.
Like as wings.
They actually are protractors because they have the ruler lines
Oh,
on
they
them.
are protractors.
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah,
okay,
yeah.
never mind.
Dumping sand.
And there's like a Mayan temple. Is that a Mayan temple?
I think
Looks
so.
like it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then an old circus
and a
tent.
circus tent and an old castle on a hillside.
All right, I got to look up what
Oh,
this
man.
means in
And,
Italian.
Okay, I'll look it up.
The
while
time
you,
is
pull
running
some music
out into a crater.
There we go.
Yeah.
So this song is called Le due meta di una notte.
You
Okay.
have a good Italian accent.
Yeah.
Oh.
Scendi sere, porta qui il tuo silenzio. Lembi di tramonto, schegge di opale. Lei mi attrae verso sé col dolce profumo.
So the problem with listening to prog is you got to give it a little time.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay. Oh, first thought. It's a Cirque du Soleil soundtrack in Italian. Have you ever been to a Cirque du Soleil show live?
I could hear that.
Yeah. every soundtrack to every main Cirque show sounds something like this. It's like weird French Canadian circus prog.
Yeah.
Right. I'm just gonna zip this farther and see if it
How
goes.
long is this song?
Like 5 minutes.
Oh, that's not bad.
Trema il cuore dentro me, è un azzurro oblio.
So this is the one that they had us land on, which to me doesn't sound like anything prog at all. So let's pick something different. La stanza nascosta. All right. Oh, more piano.
More piano.
Sopra i pensieri di un confuso istante, lenta scorre la memoria come un drappo a coprire il tempo, ad uniformare le ombre sotto tenda immaginaria. Ecco mi nascondo, le ginocchia raccolte, gli occhi bene aperti a spiare.
Prog has a very broad definition.
Yeah, it does.
Very.
This is more like almost not. I don't want to say it's classical, but with the piano and the strings.
Well,
and
the Italian
Yeah.
prog does have a lot more classical
Yeah.
in it. All right, well that's something.
That's-
If Evan has
that
them
is something.
come and play Psycho like he did have
You wouldn't
Goblin
be
come and
shocked.
play the Suspiria soundtrack, I
Yeah.
won't be too surprised.
It's not. I mean, so the name means the Temple of the Hourglasses.
Okay. I wasn't even close.
Very literal.
Yeah, I mean, this is not for me.
Yeah, same. I mean, it's cool music. I get why people would like this. It's just not my thing either. Yeah.
Yeah.
For sure. So, the city that you live in, Umeå,
Yeah,
is that how you
speaking
say
of
it?
your thing.
Umeå.
How big of a city is this? How many people?
It's the biggest. So I live in a part of Sweden called Norland, which is Northland, basically in English. It's the northernmost part of Sweden, and Umeå is the biggest. We like to call it the capital of Northland, but Northland doesn't really have a capital, and everyone else gets angry at us when we call it. But it is the biggest city in northern Sweden, and it has 100,000 people living in it. And if you go just maybe some miles out of town, there's just nothing, just forest. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, I'm on the Google Maps, the satellite view,
Yeah.
and yeah, that's a plenty of place to go take your band
Yeah.
photo.
Yeah.
Yeah. Looks like you're right near the. So what is that? Is that? Oh, that's on the Baltic Sea.
Yeah.
Okay.
Exactly.
So let me ask you a question, because we are both looking at maps, and you call it northern Sweden, but according to the map, it looks like it's like central Sweden. Like there's a lot more that's north of you.
So yeah.
Uninhabitable.
So there is definitely more northern places, like way northern. The biggest city that is furthest north is called Kiruna.
Yeah, I was just looking at that.
Yeah, which is like the farthest north you can get and still have a city. But Umeå is the biggest city of the northern region, and the northern region actually it starts in just north of Stockholm, and so that it's like the biggest part of Sweden, but there is not much people living here at all. I think it's like maybe one or
Gotcha.
couple of million, maybe at most.
Yeah, so Kiruna, JD, when I zoom in on the map, looks about like the size of Almaden Valley.
Yeah.
Which
Yeah.
is our little like
It's the size of our neighborhood.
looks like there's some kind of mining operation.
Yeah,
This is
it's a
probably
mining
where-
town. Yeah.
There's definitely some mining up there.
Fascinating listening, I'm sure. Watch Jeff and JD look at maps.
No,
Holy shit.
this is probably interesting. It can be an interactive experience when like people
Yeah.
can pick up the map themselves and look. And
Yeah. So do you have the part of Sweden with the reindeer and the psychedelic mushrooms and the shaman?
yeah.
Or do you have to get
No, but
so?
they are the Sámi people are
Yeah.
that's the Sápmi is their word for Norland. So and they have a completely different language like the natives, and my girlfriend is part native, but doesn't like identify it. But I have a lot of friends that are like the like Sámi people, and they're very cool. But they don't do any really shamanic rituals and such. But we do have a lot of psychedelic mushrooms growing everywhere in Sweden, like the whole end of the summer. So that's the thing.
That is the one conspiracy rabbit hole that I went down, is the whole like origins of the pre-Christian origins of Christmas, and hanging the mushrooms on the tree to dry out, and then something about pissing, and the shaman have to eat the mushrooms and then pee, and then you get the red and white, the Christmas mushroom.
Yeah, the Christmas mushroom.
We have a lot of those here.
So the Sámi people, like most indigenous peoples, probably cross all of these countries. You know, they occupied territory that is, you know, Norway, Sweden, Finland.
Yeah, not Denmark so much, I think, but so
Denmark.
they
And Russia.
Karelia, Karelen especially. So they some of them they herd reindeers. So they. So that's what they do, and like sell the meat, and reindeer is really good.
It's like all of our kids got introduced to this concept through the wonders of Disney, because there was a minor appearance in the first Frozen movie, but most of the second Frozen movie is like takes place in like a Sámi like village. And it's about like people damming up the water and stealing from them, and this is an interesting one of those interesting stories where a big company like Disney tries to untell. Well, I don't know how much the history is covered up in Sweden of the relationship between white Europeans and the native people. In America, we still don't talk about it. In very honest terms, but maybe it's different there. But it's always nice to see Disney like try to undo some damage.
Yeah, for sure. So there's actually there's some of that. Most of the coast, it's been like the white Europeans living for a long time. But inland, it's always been the Sápmi people, and they have been taken advantage of a lot. But the Swedish authorities and Swedish people are doing. I think we're doing our best to come to terms with it, and trying to undo what has been done, and to their culture and so forth, because especially like when it comes to like exploitation of their natural resources and stuff, we've been really bad to them, and that still happens sometimes, that like the states want to go and chop down like a whole area of forest which they are like completely dependent on for their reindeers, and like so they
build an oil pipeline through their land.
Something like that.
Build a big mine or something.
So 100,000 people is small, and then you're not surrounded. You're not close to anywhere with more people than that.
No.
But what's the local music scene like? Do you have, because of this education and the just amount of music in Sweden, do you have a pretty vibrant local scene? Yeah.
So we have both a hardcore scene, which is really good, which is birth bands like Refused, if you know them.
Oh, they're from Umeå?
Yeah. They're from here.
That's one of my favorite bands.
actually meet. I'm not really friends with Dennis, but I met him several times, like the singer.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So they are
love
from here. And there's a lot of like good bands around that, like the hardcore scene and stuff. And then we have the metal scene, which is also really good, which has birthed bands like Nocturnal Rites, Persuader, Meshuggah, Nagelfar, lots Sonaria, I guess. And so there's lots of good music coming out here.
I mean, because 100,000 people. I'm trying to think of a comparable city. A city that I've been to that has 100,000 people is like Bend, Oregon. That's
crazy.
It's an isolated city in eastern Oregon. That's kind of like a mountain town.
Yeah.
I can imagine there's more than like 4 cover bands. Like maybe a couple original bands. They have a couple of venues, but it's almost always bands from out of town. I've tried to book shows there, and like I'll get the name, and it's like there's one band that you could play with. Like in all of Bend, there's one band that would make sense to pair you up with. So it's pretty incredible. That like household names, bands that he and I both know about.
Yeah,
come from such a small place. That's killer.
Where's Luleå?
Luleå is it's almost like a sister city to Umeå, and it's a bit farther north than Umeå is, and that's also a really good music city. Raised Fist is from there, for instance. So
there was a band called Fireside.
Oh yeah.
Their early albums were incredible, and then they decided to become like sort of a pop punk band.
Yeah,
but like their first couple albums were so good.
Yeah,
so good.
Yeah, so the Luleå also has a really good music scene overall. I think like Hell Train are they called Hell Train? Yeah, they're from there as well, and. So we have like several good venues in Umeå, and they all have survived the pandemic. I think so far, so that's good.
Do you get many touring bands, and like where from?
So as of late, we actually have. A couple of like associations which book really good gigs. So we have the biggest indoor metal festival in Sweden, in Umeå, and like one of the biggest indoor jazz festivals, and we have a huge pop festival. So we have a lot of like music that comes in for those like festivals. So on the metal festival, we have had everything from, Lamb of God playing and Behemoth and lots of good bands. But like as for tours coming by, it's not as much. You have the Swedish bands come by, for sure. Like
they'll do like a all Sweden tour and hit a bunch of cities.
Yeah. So like Ghost and the likes.
Oh yeah, Ghost. That's right. I forgot about them.
Yeah,
they're Swedish.
Yeah, they're Swedish.
I mean, because like 8 hours from Stockholm, like that's how far it is from San Francisco to San Diego.
Yeah,
and I'd drive from San Francisco to San Diego and play 4 or 5 shows in between easily, as a kind of a smaller touring band.
Yeah. So it's fine. I go see shows in Stockholm a lot, and if you want to get the bigger bands like or just the more obscure bands that are not gonna play Umeå, you have to go there. So but we try to book some bigger acts here, and if bands come here, they're usually very happy with the reception. It's
I'm sure anytime you land in kind of an out of the way spot for tours, it's always the best shows, always the best reception, just because people are so grateful. Like if people are trained that I'm gonna see metal, but it's gonna be at a festival, or it's gonna be Swedish bands that I know, like you bring some band from out of the area into town, I'm sure the reception would be really good.
Yeah. So,
but if I'm booking my first like whatever 3-week or month-long tour of Europe, I think probably there's one stop in Sweden, most likely, unless you have a good booking agent or somebody who knows what they're doing to help get you to all the right spots.
Yeah. So, but if you come to Europe sometime with Cook, you can hit me up and we'll fix you a gig here in Umeå.
That would be that would be fantastic. Where I was gonna get the first tour or the first taste the other way around of touring with the German band. Plane ride. We had a tour booked with Plane Ride in April of last year that got canceled, obviously.
Of course.
But they were coming out from Germany.
Yeah.
And I was really looking forward to that and picking Max's brain. The main guy there is also a booker in Europe. So
cool.
And that's the key is from the perspective of an American, the thought of DIY booking my own European tour is terrifying.
Yeah.
And I know someone who did it, and it's like overwhelming to try and figure out where to go. And it comes down to just, do you know people who can help you out?
Yeah. It's,
get
booking in Europe is hard, man.
Yeah.
Like all of the language barriers and the cultural barriers, like you can drive for 2 hours and suddenly it's a different currency and a different language and different customs, and it can be hard. Yeah, it can be very weird. We are actually hoping to get over to the US eventually with Cavern Deep. I think the US would be a very good place for our music. I think.
Yeah. that we can help with.
Yeah.
Cool.
If regionally here in California, and then connecting you with people in other other major areas, depending on where you're going to land. We know somebody in just about every market in the United States.
Cool.
To some degree.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
Well, I'm sure we could keep talking about this for days.
Yes.
Yeah.
so
for sure.
So you talked about a bunch of bands from your hometown, but is there somebody that stuck out, or like when you were a teenager, was there somebody that you really looked up to? And I mean, you got started so early and got into touring, into like probably one of the bands that you looked up to. Quickly.
Do you have a favorite?
Do you have favorite hometown bands?
Yeah, I have some really good favorites. One of my big favorites is Moloken. So Moloken is basically a word for depressed in Sweden. They're not singing in Swedish. Have you ever heard the like hardcore-ish band called Breach?
No. I have not. No.
Yeah. So they are kind of like Breach, but progressive. So it's very like raw metal, hardcore, kind of with some black metal influences, which is like really progressive. So that is a good band. And my first show ever, I opened for them.
Oh wow.
Yeah. So that was really cool.
Do you go to shows when you're like, if you get into metal when you're 10 or 11? Are there all ages venues? Can you go see shows? Is that a common thing to do?
Yeah. So in Umeå, at least it used to be a very very common thing that the big metal bands would put on shows for the kids.
Oh wow.
Yeah. So that's a thing. So I went to those like at the youth center. Yeah. So
oh, that's cool.
Yeah. So I've seen a lot of those like cool bands, and like the youth center here in Umeå used to book like really cool bands like In Flames and Opeth, and so
wow.
Yeah. So
yes, we have this weird thing here where like most venues under the theater size, like 2,000 seats, are either 18 and up or 21 and up.
Oh,
so there are very few places for people under 18 or under 21 to see kind of emerging bands. It's kind of lower mid-level bands.
Yeah.
They're only exposed to live music at big festivals or big shows at large venues, and it's such a bummer. I wish there was more. I took I don't know how many kids to see Ghost. Like 10-year-olds.
Wow.
And they had an absolute blast.
Yeah.
Like they totally loved it. And that was at San Jose Civic, so that was like 2,000 people.
Yeah.
But
That's
no,
crazy.
they totally dug it. But I wish I could take them. So we can sort of, because one of the places that we put shows on is actually attached to a bowling alley and can be all ages.
Cool.
So like whenever we book shows there, if the kids want to come, we'll bring them, and people can bring their kids to see shows. But it's very rare.
Yeah.
All ages venues are a big problem, and I don't know if all over the country, but certainly in Northern California.
Yeah.
That's why Santos drove from New Mexico to Berkeley to 921 Gilman, because it's an all ages venue.
ages.
Oh, I see. Yeah. No, we never had. Yeah, it can be a bit of a problem here too as well. Just as you're saying with like the mid-level bands and stuff, they usually play at the bar. But because people like to drink beer, I suppose. I don't blame them.
They do.
I gotta tell you, I think I'm gonna have to dig into this Breach band.
Yeah.
It sounds like something that would be right up my alley. I'm reading about it here, and like somebody describes it as, the band style is described as unsane or prong with more expansive flourishes.
Yeah.
Huh?
Says the Collapse was named a masterpiece in the violent birth of post metal.
Yeah.
All right.
And then they're compared to like ISIS, Cult of Luna, Neurosis.
Yeah. So Cult of Luna is a local band as well. They're
Are
from
they?
here,
Oh.
yeah.
Oh my gosh.
But they don't live here anymore, but they are from here.
No.
Yeah.
Well, they came up because Minsk and Sub Rosa were supporting Cult of Luna, and that's how Zach and Sarah met. Guests that we had on from Asphodel Wine, Zach Livingston and Sarah Pendleton.
Yeah.
She was in Sub Rosa, and he's in Minsk.
Oh.
And they're a couple now. They have been for a while, but because they were both of their bands were supporting Cult of Luna.
Cool.
Oh, love story in the making.
Yes,
Interesting.
it was a beautiful love story.
Beautiful. Yeah.
Awesome. Well, I don't usually give guests work after, but you listed
homework.
You listed a lot of bands that I want to check out, but
We couldn't.
Yeah.
we couldn't figure out
transcribe
how to write them down. So yeah, it doesn't have to be a lot of work. Just send us a list of bands, and
Sure.
we'll make sure it's included in the show notes.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
anyone listening, if you were also not able, if you're not up on your Swedish, actually, my daughter at the very beginning of the pandemic said, "I'm going to learn
She
Swedish."
wanted to learn Swedish.
And she
cool.
started learning one of those online language programs. And then about halfway through, she switched to Japanese, which she's an anime freak.
Oh,
manga
yeah.
freak. So
Yeah.
So,
anime can be
probably makes more sense. I was like, she was like, "Is it weird that I want to learn Swedish?" And I was like, "Hell no! I know tons of great bands. It'd be great. It'd be killer if you could speak to them or help me translate."
Yeah. Sure. Yeah. So. But
Well, it was killer having you on. This will be posted. This will be the next episode posted, so it will be up on Monday, the 22nd.
yeah.
And I'm sure we'll see you online when it goes up,
Yes.
and we'll tag and share and do all that regular
You know
good
it.
stuff.
I will.
Yeah, this has been
spread it.
awesome. Thank you for coming on. This is great. I mean,
Yeah.
to discover you, 2 weeks ago, and then have you on the show, and
Yeah.
it's been great.
Yeah, it's been a lot of fun for me trying to get across my messages in English. I feel like my English is like the guys in Family Guy who kind of almost speak good English, the foreigners. That's me.
I'll tell you, if you're struggling on your end, I would have never known.
Would have never noticed.
I have conversations with neighbors that are less coherent than this.
Oh, completely.
Interesting.
Yeah. We speak with native speakers who speak English worse than I. Yours is great.
Yeah.
That's interesting. Yeah, but yeah, it's been great, and the Cavern Deep record is releasing on Interstellar Smoke Records probably this spring, or they like to start at the summer. So you should definitely check that out. And it's been great talking to you guys. I hope this.
Yeah, absolutely. And once you have the
release.
release. Yeah, once you have the release date and a pre-order link, we'll circulate it and make sure everybody hops on top of it. ISR puts out some nice releases, so
Yeah,
that'll be sweet. I'll definitely be ordering a copy on vinyl. And you can listen to at least 4 of the tracks already on Bandcamp.
Yeah,
And like Max said, there's different live takes going up on YouTube. Is it where on? Do you guys have a YouTube channel, or
Yes.
what's it?
it's called just Cavern Deep, and we're actually very active on the YouTube channel. So we do like rehearsal diaries and like vlogs and stupid shit, and it's mostly incoherent and pictures of weird owls and pipe smoking and stuff.
That all sounds great to me.
Yeah.
The pandemic has changed my media viewing habits in one significant way, and that was prior to it I didn't really use YouTube as like a television replacement, and I do now.
Yeah,
I watch a lot of YouTube.
Yeah, same.
My kids influenced me on that one for sure.
Yeah.
For real.
There's a lot of good
Awesome.
stuff on there.
All right, so signing off, I'm going to say just for fun, it is 3:38 p.m. in California right now. What time is it where you are?
So wait, I have to transcribe this to, it's 11:23 p.m.
11:23 p.m.
23:38.
So
That's
it's
we will.
23:23.
Yeah, 23:23.
Yeah.
So that's Max staying up until almost midnight to record with us today.
Yeah.
Which I'm sure you're probably not going to bed after this.
No,
right?
no. That's
We're all
all
night.
fine.
Well, we're not all night owls. He's not a night owl. I'm a total night owl. So.
All right.
All right. Well, thanks a lot,
Yes, thank
Max.
you. It's been great.
and I'm sure we'll talk to you again and look forward to the release.
Yeah. All right.
All right, everybody.
Woohoo!
First
That
international
was a
guest.
First international guest.
Yeah, indeed.
Yeah. And first Blynd Submyshyn guest.
First blind sub guest.
Blinds.
First guest under 30, probably. No, Jake from and Drew. Andrew from Mountain Tamer and Jake.
Yeah.
They're both young.
They're all youngins.
They're all the youngins. That was funny because when he said I'm quite young, I was like, is he gonna say he's like 17? I don't think so.
No.
I mean, he was like, he's been in the one band since like 2011,
Yeah.
so he's definitely older than that.
Yeah.
But he said I'm quite young. I'm 28. I was like, it's not
Yeah,
quite
that's young.
ish.
Yeah. You know,
me, it's
under
the-
30.
That's the beginning of not being a lunatic.
Yeah. Just like he
Well,
said, right?
I mean, this guy's like music career, production career, now studying for a master's degree in electrical engineering. He's doing fine.
Jeez.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Awesome. Well, hey, can't recommend his record enough.
No,
Really
it's
hope
so great. Such
hope
a
he-
good find.
hope he makes good on that threat of coming to the States to
Yeah.
play. That would definitely be a blast. We could put together
Oh,
a hell of a tour.
completely.
Sweet. All right.
Yeah.
Well,
Well,
I'm fresh out of words.
yeah, I've got a diatribe.
Okay, let's hear it.
I don't really.
No.
I've got nothing.
Hey, subscribe to the YouTube. Damn, we're close to giving that record away. The last time I looked,
Are we? Where are we at?
It was like 95.
Oh, we're getting there.
We might even be there.
Yeah. Subscribe to us. Comment, like.
Make sure you subscribe to the podcast wherever you listen to it to get those episodes downloading automatically. If you feel like dropping a comment on iTunes, it actually makes a difference. I don't know why.
A review.
Or drop a review.
Yeah.
Or just say random shit. I don't care
No, I
what
don't
you say.
care.
Type words.
Just give us some good reviews.
Make up something in Swedish.
Hit those 5 stars.
Like, how do you say corn in Swedish?
Kjorn. I don't know.
Kjorn.
God damn it! We should have asked Max.
Yeah.
I don't know, but the O has a little thing above it. I'm sure.
I think it might be Sweden where kuk is kitchen.
Oh, really?
So it'll be like on the
Oh.
there'll be a sign that says kuk.
People will be like, "Come see Kitchen" as they tour
Come
through
see
Sweden.
kitchen. Touring with Skillet. No,
Sk-
no. Never.
Kitchen could be a cool name for a band. No,
Yeah. Oh, kitchen could
that's
be
a
like,
noise. That is a noise rock band name.
or it's like a weird 70s prog.
Yeah,
prog
or,
band.
Yeah, exactly. It's either
Kitchen.
noise or prog.
Because we use all the tools in the kitchen, baby.
Yeah,
No, that would be
know it.
kitchen sink.
Kitchen sink. Yeah, no, that was awesome.
All right.
That was good stuff.
Well,
All right. You know,
Thanks
this has been
this has been
another episode of
Ding ding ding.
What are we?
Thanks for joining us for another week of Blynd Submyshynz. See episode description for links to all artists discussed in this episode, and visit their sites to support them directly by buying music and merch. Share links to the podcast or YouTube videos with your friends, especially if they're in bands. Bands, If you want us to listen to your music on a future episode, please submit one song to blyndsub@gmail.com. That is blyndsub, BLYNDSUB @gmail.com. Bandcamp links preferred, but not required. Find us on social media at Blynd Submyshynz. Full video episodes are available on our YouTube. Remember, we go in blind, so you don't have to. Blynd Submyshynz.